Hi everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we're talking about A Court of Mist and Fury, by Akamath by Sarah J. Maas, the second book in the ACOTAR series. And yeah, so we'll start off strong with ratings. We're gonna continue with the star stuff. I think that's been working for this. Mine is 5 stars. I don't care. It's 5.
Yeah, look, I'm there too because, I like we were briefly saying beforehand. I don't care how long other books are. I'm going to be reading them. So
yeah, again there were times that I was like, okay, we could have skipped that, but at the same time, I was also texting Addie like, why am I crying in the club right now? This made me cry in several places, and I was like, what the fuck? I was mad. I was like, this was supposed to be fairy porn. Why am I sobbing?
And it's not. And
so
the thing
it's
is,
not
it's
fairy
not.
porn.
yeah. All the while I'm thinking of it, because I'll probably forget later. Weird genital descriptions. There's one that was at the beginning of this book, and it stuck.
What?
By weird, I mean just I can't. I'll find the actual sentence, but it was described as proud.
Ah, okay.
What, like his pride?
No.
Wait,
wait.
I know what she's talking about. I don't know what the sentence is, but I know what she's talking about.
I'm bringing up the book so I can actually just search the word proud. And
probably like his proud length or something.
Yeah, well, that's.
I think it was something
fine.
like that.
That's fine.
Revealing his proud, thick length of. Oh, revealing the proud, thick length of him.
Yeah, that's fine. Be proud of it.
I don't know. I did tell my husband yesterday because he got home yesterday. I'm like, if you ever describe your penis as proud,
it's a book. It's fine.
I don't know. It's just
said
weird.
It now, but
I know. I just descriptions of stuff always just makes me go, ooh. Like it's never. I mean, to be fair, there's not a nice way to describe them.
I am so desensitized to it at this point.
Disgusting to look at. It's not.
They're
not pretty.
Yeah, I'm just desensitized to it enough at this point that I'm like, that wasn't weird.
You know what? We're gonna have to read 50 Shades, and then you're gonna have to live with a series of her referring to her vagina as her modesty and her sex.
Oh man.
I still don't like. I don't like the sex. I don't like that. I still hate it when it's like my sex. I hate it. I hate that one. That one upsets me still. I don't care how many times I hear it. It's still. I hate it.
I will never be okay with it being referred to as slit.
Oh no, I hate that one.
Yeah, slit's
it makes
upsetting.
me uncomfortable.
Slit is also upsetting.
Just me, okay? Just me. You can just say me. That works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's
fine. 5
Are we all at 5?
Me,
5.
Obviously.
Yay!
Obviously, I am. I'm the stand here.
Honestly, Bae, I'm surprised. Right. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, I wasn't sure if you were gonna be super on board. I'm actually surprised at how on board I am.
Yeah, I'm wary to start new series. Like we briefly touched on this because my brain is just like, but what if you don't like it? But I'm okay with being forced to start this series.
Also, and hello everybody in chat. I really did not remember liking it this much.
Hi, Moonchild. I know I have. It's so small, but I have. It's Valaris. It's supposed to be Valaris on my forehead.
Yes,
so.
But yeah,
I have more.
I just didn't really remember liking it as much as this the first time I read it.
Yeah, no, you definitely didn't because I know that.
I feel like this is one of those series that you're not gonna. can guarantee there's a million things I'm missing that I won't get until the second or third or fourth read.
My God, okay, but it's stuff you won't get until you read Crescent City, especially, and then you read this and you're like. And you can ask her. I've been texting her like, "Oh my God, wait! This is from this is the this and this and this and this," and she's like, "I just have to read it now."
And because like of stuff that you've texted me, I'm texting you and I'm like, wait, is this? And
yeah, you're like,
wait.
oh, is this person from here? Yeah. And I'm like, wait, let me consult TikTok real quick and make sure I'm not crazy.
And so like I'm catching references to stuff I haven't even read yet. So no, and that part's fun too. But like also, I don't know, it was just again, I still think that like, you know, about 120,000 words is like maybe the cap. Yeah, I still think that maybe 120 to 150 for like epic fantasy is probably like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
And I do think that this could have been trimmed a little bit. I think that, but also was I having fun the whole time? Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a point, I think it might be when they were meeting the queens or something the first time or something. It felt like we were reaching the end of the story. And then I checked to see how much time I had left. I was 10 or 11 hours into a 23-hour book, and I was like, not even fucking halfway.
It's a very
What else is there to happen? But a lot more happens.
Like, a lot more happens.
She filled the time. Like, it's not like House of Night where we're struggling through 8 hours but nothing is happening.
Yeah, it's not that she doesn't fill. It's not that she doesn't fill the time. It's not that any of that. It's just that,
it was so long.
It's just that, in my opinion, I think that you could I think that you could tell if you wanted to truncate the story. And I think you could hit all the same beats, like more effectively as far as speed goes. I think you could do it all in fewer words, and I think you could hit all the same beats.
And we could have spent a little bit less time observing her painting. Although it makes me laugh now.
It's not just that. For me, like my biggest like section, there's 2 sections that stick out in my mind that could have definitely been cut significantly shorter. Summer Court. Cut that shit shorter. And then the Weaver's Cottage, I think could have been. It wasn't that long to begin with, but I think it still could have been shorter. But other than that, like,
I will say the Weaver's Cottage was a freaking disturbing scene.
It was really.
When she comes out, it's just covered in fat, melted fat and shit.
So I don't even think the Weaver's Cottage necessarily needs to be cut short. I think it's that like there's a couple places where things could just be combined.
Yeah.
And like in like, you know, I think a couple places where things could be combined, because there's a couple story beats that happen, mostly so that Feyre can have an emotional beat or something.
Yeah.
And if you could combine a couple of those to extend an emotional beat or something like that, you could pretty much cut the book. Like, you could cut off a third of the book. But I will say the dramatized version makes it feel better. It does.
The dramatized version makes it feel so much shorter. I mean, quite literally, because it's like 9 hours shorter. But
it is like 9 hours shorter. And the thing is, I listened to the dramatized version on 1.25.
Yeah, I don't listen to it that fast either.
I don't listen to it that fast. So I listened to the book, the actual book, on double speed.
Yeah, I've been listening to it on 2.3.
So I probably, I listened to the real book on double speed, or something like double speed, or like 2.1 or 2.3. Because once something gets to be 20 hours, I will crank it up past double speed because I can fucking not, you know.
But 2.5 is usually too fast, so you have to go to like 2.3.
Yeah, so I was probably on like 2.1 or 2.2. But on this, I was on 1.25. So I spent more time with the dramatized version than I did with the actual book.
I will say, if and when we do the rest of her series, don't listen to it that fast. I know that they're long, but don't do it because you're gonna miss so much shit. Because I listened to Throne of Glass, most of the books on double speed. I can't tell you like 6 things that happen in that series. And like some of them, I've read them twice, and I still.
Yeah.
So you can't listen to it that fast because there's so many.
You underestimate my brain.
But yeah, I also have a much slower auditory brain than just a reading brain. So I also wasn't taking.
I mean, there are some books as well though that I haven't been able to read or listen to that fast, just because there's just too much. And
So
then
much
sometimes
happening
also,
in it.
and then sometimes as well, the narrator just doesn't talk at this speed because they don't hate us.
I will tend to not
Narrators.
listen to if it's a high fantasy book, I will usually not listen to it as fast.
Yeah, because there's always
Usually
so
because
much.
you will throw words at me. Here's also, you know what my toxic here's my toxic personality trait. Why I should read high fantasy is that if you throw at me a word I don't know, like Prithian, I go, I won't need that later, and I just purge it from my brain.
Oh, that's not good.
And so I've heard Prithian, I don't need those, and I just yeet them. I yeet them out of my brain. And it's bad.
It's
It
a
is
good thing.
so bad.
It's a good thing you're learning that now, because with Throne of Glass, that's the worst offender. That is the worst offender.
And this
It's
is
so bad.
But it was so bad the first time I read the series because Hybern kept popping up and I was like, who's that? Like, and this is why, see, I can get by in fantasy though, where I can't get by is sci-fi. So whenever you're like, why don't you like sci-fi? It's because sci-fi is so much worse. And because if you give me a made up word, my brain just goes, nope.
Yeah, that's fair.
My brain goes, who needs it?
That
Not
said,
me.
in this book especially, I doubt you would have had an issue. This got mentioned last week. Winnowing. You don't really have a chance to ignore that word.
No.
Well, yeah, that's why like when it gets repeated. When it gets repeated, I do like start to pay attention, but like, you know, it takes me a minute to be like,
oh, this is important.
I should pay attention to this fake word.
I think it also helped as well that they like did end up getting mentioned. Like we got the explanation as to what it is and how it works as well.
Yeah.
So that kind of cemented the meaning of the word and everything. But yeah, no, you were right. It was so.
Winnowing is very important.
It was used a lot.
And it keeps getting used a lot.
It does feel like though that we just read 3 books, you know?
It does. And with the length of my notes, it does really feel like we've read 3 books.
Oh my god. That was just a wall of text.
Oh yeah, And I'm just over a third of the way through Wings of Ruin, and it's not as long yet. But
I'm not gonna lie though, part of me is glad because I get amused in these scenes now, but part of me is sad that you mentioned that
she's a bad painter.
That Feyre is probably a really bad painter.
Well, because now that cabin that they like to go to is just covered in shitty paintings.
Okay, but here's what somebody mentioned
people
though.
Think she's shit.
Somebody mentioned though on TikTok, if she was really a bad painter.
Oh, Nesta would have said something.
Nesta would have said something, and I'm like, I do agree with that. I think
that's
Nesta
fair.
Would have said something.
However, I don't care. She's a bad painter.
That said, though, as well, when she's describing how Nesta is, how like Nesta would like cut anyone and everyone who even like made Elaine feel just the tiniest little bit of a negative emotion. Because you know she's prim, she's precious, and needs to be protected at all times. Whereas I feel like Nesta is still very much caring and loving in like not necessarily outwardly but inwardly towards Feyre.
100%.
And because I'm pretty sure
it comes out.
Yeah, like because I'm pretty sure Nesta was the one that like in the first book where it's mentioned that Nesta managed to like scrounge together enough money to buy her some paint.
I don't remember if it's Nesta or Elaine that does it.
And I'm pretty sure it was Nesta, but especially if it was, I feel like she's like, look, I'm a bitch. I know I'm a bitch. I'm an awful person. However, this is one thing she absolutely loves, and I can't break her heart.
Yeah,
about this.
That's also kind of.
I feel like it's still consistent with her character if she's awful and doesn't tell her. from what I have observed of her so far.
I would just love to get a perspective though, where I don't know, like if we get an Asriel book where he's just like, she is so terrible. She's so terrible. Like, I don't want another painting. Like just somebody who doesn't want one.
But yeah, like that cabin that she painted the entirety of in like 4 days, and apparently like it's quite detailed work because she's drawing like eyes and this and that and wings and everything.
So we are
can't paint that much.
No, not well. We are confirmed to get 2 more books that are based on Lucian and Asriel, or Elaine.
Yeah,
but Elaine's a love interest for everyone. So
I did see as well. She's just signed a new book deal that I think is for 4 books. So she's got 7 books now that are confirmed to be at some point coming out.
Well, Crescent City, I don't know how long they anticipate that one being, because where it ended last time.
Yeah, she's got
it ended in places.
Oh, it ended in places. Which, Mara, do your best to not find spoilers for the end of Crescent.
I honestly, anything to do with her, I'm kind of
sorry,
like skipping unless it's like clearly says on it that it's just purely related to the first book, and now I can go with
second book,
ACOMAF 2. So
I saw a ridiculous TikTok that was like, if you read ACOTAR, like if you're a guy and you read ACOTAR, you'll learn how to do sex better. And I was like, that's so stupid.
Yep. So Bloomsbury signed Sarah J. Maas, the author of Throne of Glass series, to a new 4-book deal. 3 other books by her are currently under commission at the publisher. So she has 7 books that she owes
because the 3 that are currently under is Crescent City 3 and ACOTAR's 5 and 6. Also, Thorns and Roses is getting a TV show, and I'm not happy about it.
ACOTAR is getting something.
It is. It's getting a TV
I will say,
produced by Hulu.
I will say, because apparently, there's going to be a Harry Potter and Twilight
they're redoing
TV show
Harry
as well.
Potter. Yep,
and
they're
Twilight.
Harry Potter.
I saw.
I haven't heard Twilight yet, but
I saw Twilight. I looked at apparently, but apparently, the goal is, at least with Harry Potter, but I think with Twilight as well, is to be as loyal to the books as is possible.
Yes.
That seems to be the trend for new adaptations, is to try and be loyal to which it's about freaking time.
Yeah, because the thing missing from Harry Potter was spew. Sorry.
There was honestly with Goblet of Fire, when we left, because Mum would take me to see them. When we left Goblet of Fire, after we saw it, Mum's like, "Look, I don't know what that movie was, but it wasn't Goblet of Fire." I'm like,
I'm sorry. Goblet of Fire is when she like really went off the rails, and also really like the editors completely forgot to like they forgot where the backspace key was, because also girl, cut that book in half. What are you doing? You're writing children's fiction. Stop it.
That movie was just like loosely inspired by the book, not actually.
It was a good movie though.
It was, but it wasn't Goblet of Fire.
It was a good movie though.
But it wasn't Goblet of
Fire.
I
love Goblet of Fire is like my favorite.
I'm sorry, it's better than the book.
I
didn't like
the movie was fine, but it wasn't. I love the books. Fuck you. Wait.
Yeah.
Hedwig is displeased with you. She flaps.
I know.
Give me a second. I'm gonna go get my Hedwig.
We're already off track. This is bad.
I know. Hang on.
But she flaps, and I'm gonna show you that she flaps. Okay.
I also have something to say about the final, not Crescent City, the final Throne of Glass book.
Whoops.
Oh.
Oh, great! And now I broke off. I just need to pop it back on. It's fine. Carry on. Keep talking.
The final Throne of Glass book is almost 300,000 words.
Wait, what?
It is
Why?
272,000 words. There's also
No,
okay,
it's not.
I will
That's
say
too long.
I will say there's like 10 perspectives. Like there's 10 characters you follow in that series.
That's too many.
Silver Flames is 210,000 for comparison. And then the rest of the Throne of Glass series is all shorter than the third ACOTAR book. I'm trying to find word counts for Crescent City real quick. And then I swear I'll get in there. Okay, so House of Sky and what is it? No, Sky and Breath is 237,000 words. That's so many words.
It's so many.
There are like 7 characters. And this it's a really good book. Okay. Huh.
Do you think that they were like, there's no limit, just as many as you can
I feel like her goal
until
is,
your fingers fall off?
I feel like her goal is always 250,000 words.
Yeah, it's like no matter what you do, don't stop typing.
Well, because hang on, I'll show you how chunky
Oh,
Crescent City is. I'll be right back.
Sorry, in the book I'm writing right now, my goal was like for the last round of content edits was to get it up to 100,000 words. I got it up to 99 and like 99.8, and that is so I can.
Nice.
That's so I have room to chop.
Okay.
It needs to be like 95-ish.
I do have a question about
Mm-hmm.
That's Crescent City 1. This thing is tall in comparison to.
Oof.
Yeah.
So she's very tall.
What's the font sizes? Because that makes a difference as well.
Okay, I'm just open to a random page.
Okay.
Pretty normal. ACOTAR is just a tiny bit smaller. But then you have the second one.
It should be 12 and 11.5 by industry standards.
So I guess they look pretty much the same length, but this is the second one. It's a little bit longer. But they're massive. They're huge and they're so large. Like they're not just thick, they're just big. But they're really pretty.
Yeah, so my
they're
question
really pretty.
Is because this came up in my algorithm as well. It was like a little skit of like, I love Sarah J. Maas. I've read all of her books, and like someone's just holding Catwoman and going like,
yes,
have you really read all of them?
Blah, she blah, read a book,
and then a bunch of the comments are like, we don't talk about that book, and then a bunch of other ones were like, I just read it. It's fire.
I've never read it. So should we read it after ACOTAR?
It apparently has mixed reviews.
Hang on, where is it? Let me go to Goodreads. Okay. We do this and then I start fast reading my notes.
You know what's interesting? She's not published by one of the big 5.
Really?
I thought she's published by Bloomsbury. Is that not a big 5?
I don't think so.
That's a big one.
I don't
Bloomsbury
find them.
Did Harry Potter.
They're not owned by one of the big 5. The big 5 are Penguin Random House, Macmillan, Simon and Schuster. What are the other 2?
Yeah, Bloomsbury is because a different publisher did Harry Potter for the US, but Bloomsbury did everything else. Oh no, they Bloomsbury owns Macmillan.
Oh, do they?
Yep. Oh no, they distribute through Macmillan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, so the big 5 are HarperCollins, Macmillan, Simon & Schuster, Penguin Random House, and Hachette Group. Those are the big 5.
Wait, where is she? Wait, where does she live? Because if she's British, it makes sense. It's one of the biggest
American.
publishing Okay.
She's in New York.
Okay. They've got a publishing office in New York. Maybe they're branching out into
I mean, even
Yeah.
if they distribute through Macmillan,
Auto.
I don't think they're owned by Macmillan though.
No.
That's not to say that Macmillan won't eat them at some point. Like they're doing their best.
I don't think Macmillan could afford them because they own Harry Potter.
The Big Five are doing their best to eat all the other publishers. Don't you worry.
I know, but they will not. They will not eat the publishing house that owns Harry Potter.
That's true.
The #1 book-selling series in history.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, chapter 1.
It's like the biggest British one. So just not US, I guess.
Okay, so I have chapters notes until chapter 5, and then that's when I discovered the dramatized versions, and then it just becomes an amalgamation of notes.
Yeah, because the dramatized versions are not.
It doesn't have chapters. It just has a free for all. It's just a free for all. It's so lovely. It's so lovely. So
I like them.
I'm obsessed.
My next reread will be the dramatized version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I guess my first reread.
That's right.
I'm doing the actual books.
That's right.
I'm doing the actual books.
Yeah, no, treat yourself to the dramatized versions after because
they're nice.
They're really good.
So I know you don't like Rhysand's voice. This is how I imagined his voice.
I didn't. So he has another voice actor that I've heard on TikTok, and it's much better.
What's that voice actor from?
I have no idea. I think it's promotional material before this happened, but it's like super deep, and he's lightly British.
So I never heard that.
You have heard it. I've shown it to you.
Okay.
But you literally only hear him say "Hello, Farah, darling," in that accent, and it's. And I heard it first, so that might be why I have the disconnect because I heard that as Rhys first, and so now this guy, I'm like, this ain't Rhys. And Cassian's voice does not fit Cassian.
Yeah.
Cassian's voice, I don't like it. All the girls are perfect, though. Amren especially. I love Amren's voice.
Yeah, Amren's fine.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. So, introducing the Bat Boys. We
can do that when we get there.
We talk about characters. Anyway, we have Rhysand.
We talked about Rhys last one.
Who's like Asriel's like the moody, silent one.
He's the spy master.
Yeah, Cassian is like the beefy, punchy one.
He also
who is portrayed as somewhat as a fuckboy.
He looks like this. So he's like really hot. Canonically, Asriel is the prettiest of the three of them. Canonically as well. Cassian has the largest wingspan. They have wings. That's why they're called Bat Boys. They have bat wings.
Yeah, they're the Bat Boys, and the wings are sensitive.
The wings are sensitive.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That is one of my main gripes with this book. I can't like.
That's fair.
When he's just like, did you know that stroking our wings during intimacy can make us climax without even us having to do a single thrust?
Yeah,
like that's a bit much.
Yeah,
that's a bit like I feel like your wings should not be a sexual organ.
Yeah, I agree because like they're constantly getting like stimulated, whatever.
Like if you're battling while like just flapping.
This is a question that everybody has. I feel like where the first time you hear that, you're like, but wait a minute.
Yeah. We also have more. Her name's Morrigan. She's the
Morrigan.
She's the Morrigan.
She is.
She's bubbly.
I'm assuming she's heavily inspired.
She's Rhys's cousin.
Morrigan of Faye.
We stan. Then we have Amren, who is not of this world. And it's gonna take everything in me not to talk about Amren as much as I want to, because I know things about Amren. But she is some creature in a high fae body. Yeah, they have no idea what creature she is.
Yep.
And she's very, 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 very old.
Yep. And I'm not going to say that she's like Feyre, but she's compared to Feyre because they're both
She was made. Yeah.
They're both made. They're not in their original bodies, etc., etc.
Yeah. And Amren's like moody and all-knowing. But like she's a lot like Nesta. Her and Nesta, this isn't a big spoiler, her and Nesta become like BFFs.
Yeah,
They're
I had a
very
feeling that they
similar.
were either going to loathe
Hate
each
each
other
other?
or love
Mhm.
each other.
They do both throughout their relationship. They do both. And then we have, Tampon, Tamlin, who's now maskless. We have Lucian, hashtag justice for Lucian.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hashtag
I'm thinking
Lucian
of
could
it.
give Lucian could give Zayd energy, but he,
But our MC isn't attracted to him. Yes.
I'm not sure if I just saw this coming or felt or because there was similar vibes to like what Reese and Farah had in the first book or whatever. I don't know, or if it's explicitly mentioned. Is Nesta and Cassian?
yes.
That's book.
Okay.
That's Silver Flames. They are Silver Flames.
Okay.
It's wait until next book.
Because from the first time they meet in this book, there's
So obvious.
She's not being subtle.
Wait until late into the next book, and there's going to be a quote that when I talk about it, I might actually cry because it's the one that I showed you that when like we kind of mildly discovered the dramatized version. I showed you that TikTok, the Cassian TikTok, the screaming. Is this a recognition?
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I know. That's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's why we're both looking. Well,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're both looking at you. Like, are you recognizing?
Yeah. Sorry. I thought we were talking to her because, like, I've read the book.
I know nothing yet. Okay,
Yeah.
I know nothing but what I can presume.
That will confirm everything. And then also the fact that Silver Flames exist also is, yeah. So at the end of last book, we have killed Amarantha. We are back at the Spring Court. Farah went through some shit. She had to kill some innocent fairies. She was also in a dungeon for 3 months. She has severe PTSD.
She is.
Yep, she was somewhat tortured during those 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah, she is not. She's not having a good time. She wakes up every night having like really horrible nightmares, and she just
vomiting
and like vomits her guts up, and also. She tells us that Tampon is also having a bad time, and he wakes up with nightmares.
But not with her, like, because my first note is Tamlin's sin number 1. He does not know she has PTSD.
Yeah.
It's been 3 months. Reese has not called on her to come to the night court because he thinks she's in love with Tamlin, so he's leaving her alone.
Or at the very least, Tamlin notices, she does. From Feyre's perspective, she doesn't know whether or not Tamlin has noticed that she has PTSD, but she's like, he leaves me alone and I leave him alone, and he doesn't wake up when I wake up, but him waking up wakes me up. So she's like, so I don't fucking know if she's like, he should be hearing me like
in bed together because he's like, no, we don't share a room.
They don't share a room. Yeah, like it's because that's how his dad did it, I think, was that the parents don't share a room.
Yeah.
All that.
So
yeah, but you know how that usually goes though, because that a lot of high society couples and stuff still don't sleep together in the same bed still, because that's always been the way.
Yeah,
but
you know, different chambers.
The thing is though, do you want to know? No, the thing is though, right? Like the girls' chamber is usually like this elaborate, like it's the full proper bedroom, and he sleeps in the dressing room, which is like he sleeps in the walk-in wardrobe.
That's hilarious.
In a single bed, and when he wants some, he comes in for sex. That's how it works. Like
that's a very sad life. That's a very sad life.
Like even like kings and queens, like the king will sleep in the wardrobe.
That's funny, but that's very sad.
But basically, the point is like
dressing room.
They're both going through severe PTSD, but they're going through it alone.
Yes, and she really wants to go out and help and like do things, but he's like, no, you have to stay. Yeah, he's like, I need you safe and at home.
Yeah, so we didn't really talk about this last time, but like, you have like all the courts of like the Fae and stuff, and there are cities. Yeah, they were supposed to be, but they were like destroyed by Amarantha.
Yeah, because we didn't really know this last book because You know,
we were just in like a country manor the whole time.
Yeah, but like there's big cities, so she wants to go help a city. We also find out at this point that Tamlin proposed 2 months ago. And
this was before their relationship was all but ruined because she was actually excited about it.
I also have a big beef with Sarah J. Big beef. She never shows weddings. Ever. I have beef.
Right.
The only wedding she shows. Yeah, she shows this
Tamlin
wedding.
and Farrah.
I mean, out of all of
it
her
doesn't
series,
happen.
out of all of her series, she never shows weddings. And it makes me upset. Anyways. So we have 2 weeks till the wedding.
The wedding scenes can be a bit tedious though, so
yeah, but
okay,
like,
here's the
I want to
thing.
see Farrah and Reese's wedding.
We got to see Adam and Mercy get married. If we're allowed to see Adam and Mercy,
I will say I do have some Adam and Mercy comparisons for this book as well.
Because we didn't. Here's the thing, though. Of all the weddings we didn't need to see, not that I didn't love seeing it, but like of all the people I would have expected to like wedding skip,
Mercy.
you know. But it was great. It was,
like it.
But it was great. It was super cute. Like Jesse tricked her into getting married. It was adorable. You know, like it was so cute. So you know, SJ, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's 2 weeks to the wedding. We now meet Ianthe. I can't say Ianthe. I can't say her name.
Oh yeah, Ianthe. That's right. Yeah.
Ianthe. She is a big old bitch. We fucking hate her.
Yeah,
none of my hoes like Ianthe.
Even when we were supposed to think she was a main, like I was.
Yeah, like a friend character.
I was sus.
Oh yeah, from day one.
From day one.
I have a question though. I do have a question.
Yeah.
We haven't seen from Alice. Like we haven't seen anything from Alice since she gets taken away. Is Alice a bro? Because the last thing we hear Alice say is, "Please look after her."
Alice is a bro.
Okay, excellent. Because I was just like, because like that's the last thing she ever hears her say, at least in this book. Like
you'll
just
see
like,
her.
Please take care of her. Or please.
You'll see her next book. Alice is not gone.
I
for
figured.
good. You'll see her
I'm
next.
glad because I like her.
Yeah, with the ending of this book, it's not a big assumption that you'll see her. So.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
She's a pretty major player at the beginning of the next book.
Excellent.
So we meet her. She's in charge of the wedding planning, and she's a high priestess who speaks for the cauldron. Anyways, Tamlin and her, Farrah, that is, hate her wedding dress. Her wedding dress is supposed to be like the most 80s gaudy, disgusting wedding dress of all
It
time.
sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible.
Really, it does.
How it's described, it reminds like, and I don't know how, but somehow like Princess Di's wedding dress is like described as like one of the most amazing wedding dresses in history. It was fucking.
It sounds
hideous.
like it.
Ugly, yeah.
It sounds like her wedding dress, though.
And
honestly.
it's so funny because when Reese sees it, he laughs at her. And I went.
Yes, and he did what everyone else should have done.
So he keeps on iterating. He's like, I need you to be safe. I need you to be safe. And then
also like she's just Farrah is just walking around party planning and like she's doing and also
she's
as
not
she's planning as she's planning her wedding, she's just like, I don't care about anything. So you can pick. I don't give a shit.
She's being the lady of the house, and she doesn't like it. She's not.
Yeah, she
enjoying
just
herself.
doesn't like it.
She's trying to convince herself she does, but she doesn't.
She's just not. She's just not vibing with anything.
He keeps buying her paints, and
and she's
it doesn't
not doing
appear that he knows that she's not painting.
No.
Which you know, not painting for a while would be a completely normal reaction to trauma. Like that's not the red flag. The red flag is that he hasn't noticed that she's
because you would notice.
That's her major personality trait. Which
well, also she's a very messy painter.
Yeah,
she's a very messy painter. He would notice
if he cares.
Are there people
who cared?
Messy painters?
Yes, I've met many.
That's so weird.
I know.
Because when I paint, it's just
yeah, no, there's a lot of people. A lot of people are not.
It's just on me.
Okay, so Lucien this whole time is a bro. I love Lucien. He's like all this entire time. He's like, I'm trying to help you get out and like see things and like just go on a walk. But Tamlin is like just so concerned for your safety, and he's just scared, and that's why he doesn't want her to leave. But they go to the village.
I'm a little bit less forgiving of Lucian than you are.
I am, so
because
at least
like
at this
it doesn't
point-
seem. It seems like all he's done is like, but Tamlin, maybe
Yes.
you should let her out instead of being like, dude, what the fuck? She's breaking apart. Like he needed
Yes.
a punch to the face
Oh,
and
yes.
he gave him a tap on the shoulder.
I agree, but the shit he's gonna go through next book hurts so bad to read that's why I love him, and that's where I'm at right
Okay.
now. Is I'm reading him just being a really sad, moody bitch, and I miss my boy. Justice
I
for
don't-
Lucian.
So I don't quite recall, like, I remember what he goes through next book, but like it's been long enough and I don't really remember my feelings on it. So
Does what he
I'm
goes through
just
next
gonna
book
say-
have to do with what happened at the end of this book?
Yes.
Yes. But I'm just gonna say,
Yes.
like, with just this book as a reference point,
No,
I
with
am
this
completely
one, no.
with Feyre when she's
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
when she's like, motherfucker, you
Yeah, when she sees
could have
Lucian later
done-
and she's like, "Fuck off."
yeah, when
I
she
should've
like
saved
when
me,
she
you didn't.
gives Lucian the business later, I'm like, yeah, girl, you yell at him.
and I agree, but
And you know
overall,
what? Real quick,
justice for my
compliments to Sarah J. Maas, because half the time when characters yell at somebody and they're like, you should have meh, 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 I'm like, girl, shut the fuck up. But I was like with Feyre most of the time. There was one time I freaking wasn't, and I was like, are you for real? Are we really doing this? Oh, that's where she could have cut out some words. And we discovered that we're mates and we're freaking mad about it.
That's my biggest pet. Like,
I
that's my
hate
other
that
gripe.
so much.
I texted you
Yeah.
immediately once I got there, and I was like, "I'm fucking done." Like, I hate
I-
it because we don't have to
I-
spend 3 chapters angry.
Yeah, like look, I appreciate her being upset at not being told. I can appreciate that, but I do feel like she dwelled on it for too long, especially when the end ended up being like, yes, I will give you the suit.
Yeah, when it's like, "Well, I love you, so it's fine," and it's like, then why were you pissed? And he has all the good reasons not to tell her.
Yeah.
He has all the
I
good
will say
reasons.
though, I will say though, I was thinking about this. This is one of the, I guess not a comparison, but kind of like a example of the kind of mating bond that I do like. I'm not the biggest fan of like the predetermined mate bond. Because it will always in my head leads questions of, do you love them because you're mates, or are you mates because you're inherently always going to, like, we're always going to love them. I like the ones like, for example, in Mercyverse, where it's like you and your wolf or whatever are like, yeah, that's a good pick, and your mate bond comes from choice as opposed to destiny, because then there's never going to be that question of, is it love or is it just a mate bond? Who knows? Because like maybe Rhys and Feyre never would have fallen in love had it not been for the bond.
But they would have, because the bond wasn't fully active. Like, it wasn't
It
fully
was,
there.
but there was
because
a
you can't bond
pre-bond.
with it. Yeah, but you can't.
But there was a
make
pre-bond, and he knew that there was a pre-bond.
He suspected there was a pre-bond. No, see, I'm the biggest defender of fated mates. I love fated mates. I think it's such a fun trope. I love it. I love it so much.
I'm used to. I guess as I'm getting older, I'm just kind of like, but I want a choice in my life, please. And maybe it's because I don't know why, but I recently reread Twilight,
Oh God.
and
Why'd
I
you
know,
do?
right? Because I can't remember why, but I was inspired to. And Jacob never wanted to freaking imprint on anyone because he's like, I'm literally going to be a slave for the rest of my life to this person,
Yeah.
and I'll be happy about it, but it's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And then he gets imprinted to a fucking newborn
Baby. Yeah.
against his will.
Yeah. See,
and
that's
he gets
what I
all
don't
the shit
like.
for it.
I like where and
And the fandom treats him like shit for imprinting on a baby. I'm like, it's not his fault.
yeah, it's not his fault that he
You don't
imprinted on a
want
baby.
So I like both. I don't mind the fated thing, like in this aspect. I mostly
They have
I
a
like
healthy relationship at least.
yeah, I like telepathic bonds. They make me happy. but
Yeah.
I like the way that it was done here because, like, at
I like
least
the way it was done here.
by the time we deal with the mate bond thing, they address, like, they're already into each other.
Yes, and that is something with Sarah is that they're because the mating bonds are in all 3 of her series. But it's always with people that have a predetermined relationship with one another before the mating bond even becomes a thing.
Yeah. And I do like that. Like I feel like with their personalities, they would have been together regardless. Because like they've got that banter. They've got all.
They do.
And again, he just wants her to be her best self.
I know. He's like, I just want you to be happy. Anyways, okay.
He's like, you're gonna read it. We'll talk about that.
I'm on chapter 4. All right. I'm on chapter 4, 69.
69. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So she finds out that there are no high ladies in Prithian, and that makes her sad because she kind of wants to be high lady, but she also kind of doesn't. We are now a few ways. Now we're at the night before the wedding. She's depressed. She has nightmares, and now it's the wedding. She's like, I'm stressed. And Alice is like, you sound like you're going to your funeral.
The main reason she wants to be a high lady or whatever is because she just doesn't want to be the accessory to the High Lord.
Exactly. She wants to.
What her role will be.
With Tamlin, that is her role, is accessory. And she requested no bread at all at the ceremony, and there's red roses. So she starts having like a full-on panic attack. She stops walking in her head. She's like, "Save me, save me, save me, please save me."
Somebody get me out of here.
And then she thinks, no, 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 no. And then all we hear, everyone gasps and looks away. And then all we hear is, hello, fair darling. Not me screaming in the club right now. Anyways, so we go to the night court, but we go to the it's just like it's on top of a mountain. It's very pretty outside.
Because if you'll recall last book, where's we left off? There's a bargain. Rhys comes and gets her once a month.
And so he decides to call it in right now because he hears her going, no, 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 stop, stop. I don't want to marry him. Stop, stop, stop. So he's like, okay, I call in my thing right now. He's like, Farah, congrats. I bought you a week to figure out what the fuck you're doing. And she's like,
yeah.
Which is like the most emasculating thing.
At your wedding, another guy comes and steals your girl, literally.
And you can't fix it. Like he can't even do anything.
No.
It's like, ugh.
You
know what though?
We're just talking about how blondes
never get the girl.
Blondes are unattractive.
I have an example of a blonde getting the girl, and it's not in fantasy, but it is a dystopian. Which is often
we're talking about men.
They're cousins. Dystopian and fantasy are cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah.
No, because
that's YA.
What?
It happens in YA too, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying. Yeah, but in YA, it's more acceptable for the blonde to win.
Dystopia doesn't count though, because like Peeta in the Hunger Games.
They're cousins.
No.
Dystopian and fantasy are cousins.
No.
They are.
They are. Mm-hmm. I agree with her. I think that they are.
I don't. Not in that way. Not in the boys' way.
Often, yes.
No.
They have a lot of the same tropes in dystopian as they do in...
Anyway.
Which is how we got, what's it called? What's that series called that we read? The one that's like magic but set in the future and it's all dystopian but it's magic. Wheel of Boschheim, all that. We're made to think we're in magic, but we're in dystopian future magic because they're cousins. They go hand in hand.
I don't remember.
Okay.
With his name starts with J. It's not the series you made me read. The two series.
Yeah. Jalen.
Yeah.
And Jorg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Dystopian magic. Dystopian fantasy.
They're cousins. That's not dystopian.
It's post magic apocalyptic future.
Yeah.
It's dystopian.
That's different. It's not dystopian.
It is. It's dystopian fantasy.
Anyway.
Okay, so she's like, this palace that she's in is the most beautiful place she's ever seen. He takes her to her room and it's gorgeous, and she has a bathtub to literally die for.
Is this the House of Wind? Is that where
no,
he took her?
this is not the House of Wind.
Okay.
This is the house above the Court of Nightmares.
Okay.
No, because the
Did
House
we
of
ever
Wind,
go back there?
yeah, a
The house
lot.
above okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
One-
wait,
one
no,
thing
that
I did-
House of
The house-
Nightmares?
Yeah, the house above the Court of Nightmares.
I don't think we do.
Because I was like, this is a location we never see again, right?
Like, we see it this book, and then
Well,
it's always the House of Wind.
decoy because it was the decoy.
It's a decoy
place,
house.
'cause
Okay.
One thing I did like is like, because she's like, okay, so I guess where's my dungeon cell? And he's like, why the fuck would I? He's like, no, there's your room. Go have a bath. Get out of that. Fucking
Get out of this
hideous
ugly
dress.
fucking dress.
Yeah.
Get, and then let's have some and you can just do your own thing for a week, okay? Just chill.
He's
we're
like,
on a
I'm
little
literally
mini
just-
staycation.
Yeah, he's literally like, I'm just buying you time to figure out what the fuck you're going to say to Tamlin in a week, okay? Okay, bitch. So she throws a shoe at him, but he also reveals that he wakes up through their bond every night with her, which is very cute. So she throws her shoes at him, and he
And her
laughs.
response is just, get out of my head, you freaking
Yeah.
weirdo.
Yeah. So she gets dressed in night court clothes after her bath, which I imagine him like Jasmine from Aladdin. Like, I imagine that's like night court clothing, because that's how it's
How I
described.
pictured
It's
it
like
is,
loosey, flowy.
but also very cool, icy tones.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
Let's
Like
see if I can
Springport is
find-
very gold and warm clothing, whereas
I cannot imagine
Night
Spring
Court is
Yeah, it is.
silver and-
spring
Exactly.
all the time. Ugh.
I would hate it.
I
I'd die.
would hate it there.
You would hate
Yeah.
what? Oh, spring all the
Spring
time.
court.
Oh god, imagine
Yeah.
if you had hay fever.
Oh yeah, he.
Oh
he
yeah,
would
if you had
die.
allergies, yeah, Christian
Yeah,
would die
him?
too.
Mm-mm.
Huh?
I
If you
wouldn't
were
have a
in,
good
stuck
time.
in perpetual spring.
Perpetual what?
Spring.
Oh yeah, I would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
I would
look,
just.
I would want to live in autumn, but visit
I would
winter
want to-
often.
Yeah. Same.
Winter. I would live in winter or night.
I would want
That's
to
it.
live in winter. I would love to live in winter. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're just talking seasonal here. I would
Oh,
love
yeah,
to live
just
in
seasonal
winter.
winter.
However, I feel like it would just be nothing but snow, and I feel like I would eventually get really sick and tired of just nothing but white around me.
That's fair.
I would want to live in autumn.
But
I'll get a
I think I
vacation
would want
home in
the
autumn.
clothes of. I think I would want the clothes of winter more, so I might have
If
to
it
live there.
wasn't for
Because winter and night court, I imagine, have similar
pollen, I
color
would be
palettes.
against them.
But if you could choose any court, it'd be night court. It's also the one we see the most of. So like,
I know,
of
but
course,
right
like,
now
that's
we're
the one
just
you pick.
talking about seasons, though.
Alright.
God
I
damn
would
it.
still pick autumn. I'm sorry. I love autumn so much.
Or,
I-
wait, where is the map? We need the map.
On the internet.
Yeah.
God, we're
While you find
Um,
the
This
map,
is not just a 100,000 word book. We have to speak.
I know. So they, after she's dressed and everything, they talk about their bond for a moment, and then she's like, "So what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Well, while you're here, I'm gonna teach you to mental shield, and I'm gonna teach you how to read."
And she's like, no, and he's like, no, but you're doing this, like, absolutely.
He's
'Cause,
like, "You're a high fae now. You're gonna learn how to fucking read."
yeah, the
Dude.
focus was reading initially, and then as soon as he realized she was not happy about like her mind not being
Him.
protected, he's like, okay, fine, we'll do that too. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when that's when it became abundantly clear. Like, that's the first time it popped into my head. He wants her strong, like he wants her safe, he wants her strong, and that like that kind of like just comparison just kept popping up into my head.
Mhm.
And that's where the Adam and Mercy main comparisons come in. Adam always wanted Mercy strong.
Yeah, it was actually something that got brought up a lot, like when she was comparing Adam and Samuel in the first couple books.
Yeah, because
It was never like drummed upon too much
Well,
because
'cause-
Samuel never
well,
had like any amount
but
of
we
control
were
over
protected.
her.
But he also wasn't trying to lock her up into a little box forever.
Well, no, and he didn't
He's
actually
trying to
have
get-
any. Yeah, he didn't actually have any like control over her or anything. So it wasn't like. But when she was actually like evaluating what her life would be like, she was like, "Yeah, that's not gonna
Yeah.
work for me."
Yeah, Samuel wanted babies. Adam wanted a partner. Okay, so the reason I looked up the map, winter and autumn are touching. I just wanted to double check that they're touching, which means that we can just live on the border.
Exactly. We just hop.
And if we want,
we can have a house that straddles the border. It's fine.
We can live on the tri-state line of summer, autumn, and winter, and so then that way as well. Like when we just want some.
Could you imagine the whiplash?
Sunflowers, though.
Okay, but like you walk to one part of your house and suddenly it's sweltering hot, and then you walk to the other one and it's below freezing.
We're going to have temperature control throughout the house, so the house will be consistent temperature.
Yeah, but like going outside, how would you dress?
It would be just like living in Georgia.
That's very true. That's like living in the American South. Okay.
And moving on.
All right. So Reese is unhappy about the future she's choosing for herself, that she's just going to become like a staple trophy wife. And he's like, you should see what else you can do since you were made by all the High Lords. And then Moore shows up. We meet Moore. Farah's like a little bit apprehensive about her, but overall likes her. So now he's teaching her how to read. He's flirting, and then he teaches her how to shield all at the same time. And then he shows her some maps, maps of Prithian. And he's like, war is coming. It's Highburn. Because he's going to put the wall down, the wall separating the Fae from the humans. And he's telling her because he wants her to liaison between him and Tamlin. And he's like, I need you to capture something for me. No, this isn't what why did I write that down? Anyways, he's like, you could be a high lady because of your powers, because you're made by all the High Lords. He's empowering her. He's bolstering her. He's doing everything Tamlin could never do. Then the rest of the week, she doesn't see Reese. But they start their little pen pal notes a little bit here, where like
I liked it. I thought it was cute.
I loved that. That was so cute.
It's so cute.
It's messages where like Reese is the most attractive High Lord, and like she's learning how to read and write that way.
And next time she goes back as well, like all of her reading and writing lessons are like, Reese is the most attractive. Reese is the most delicious.
Reese is the best in bed. Yeah, like it's. We stand. So
and she just
I completely forgot about that, and I was just like, okay, this is cute.
It's so cute. He explains winnowing to her and says that a lot of the powerful High Lords can do it and all that. She also learns a little bit about Illyria. I love it. Yeah, so she just gets a little bit of world building. Illyria is like the northern part of the Night Court that's bat people. It's Batwing people. So it's her final morning. She goes home. She's really stressed, and Tamlin immediately is like, "Tell me everything." So she does.
She gets back. She feels
weird at first, but she eventually does.
Yes.
Well, but she's also like super off-put though, because she's like, Tamlin was so happy to see me, and then he's like,
tell me everything.
Oh, actually, never mind. I'm not happy to see you. Sit down and tell me everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, can I eat or have a shower or go to bed? I can't remember what she asked if she could do first. And he's like, no, we don't have time.
Yeah.
You need to tell me everything.
And she's like, he's helping me train. And he's like, you don't need to train. I'll protect you.
Also, like, you training isn't safe. You training isn't safe because then it will draw attention.
He says that, no, you're weak, and I need to protect you. And she's like, maybe Reese changed my memories or something. I don't know. No one has mentioned the wedding. Taxes happen, and Farah saves a serpent creature. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, she saves a serpent creature. Don't worry about it.
It just becomes important later. She yells at Tamlin for being really insensitive of people that can't pay their taxes. Her powers of getting into others' minds is coming out. And then she
solution for a minute.
She slips in solutions.
Yep. And then when she yells at Tamlin again, gets up and finds burns in the table where her hands were, and she's like, okay. So she later goes to see him in his study and apologizes. He gives her a traveling painting kit, but it's just reminding her of Under the Mountain. And she, oh God, listen to the dramatized version of the scene. Was so
this made me cry.
Yeah,
I think this was one of the things that made
she
me
says, "I can't live like this. I'm drowning. You're drowning me." And he like goes fucking crazy and explodes the study. She shielded herself using air, so we see all the power she's got from all the High Lords. He's like, today was bad. I'm sorry. I'll lighten your security. You know, like I'll try. And so he does.
She gets to go for like a walk.
Yeah, she gets to go for like a singular walk, and then Reese is here. Hi, Reese. So it's been 3 weeks. We're going back with
Has
Reese.
has she gone out to the villages yet?
Yeah, she's gone out to the village a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And none of them will help.
Reese notices
that she looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that's right as well. Because one thing that has happened with her appearance, we haven't talked about her appearance. Apparently, she's severely overweight, very gaunt, very dull.
Like skin's not right.
She's probably barely eating because she's really depressed. And she's not allowed to leave.
Yeah,
and she's not sleeping well, so her
got
eyes are very like she's got bags under her eyes. Her color
and she was like this at the beginning of the book as well. It hasn't just been in the last 3 weeks.
No, but the week she spends at the night court, she looks better, and then like Reese sends her back for 3 weeks, and she comes back looking worse.
And then
like
he gets custody of her again, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, he's like, "Why? What are you doing?"
Yeah, he's like,
"Don't make me take you to court, Tamlin."
It's like when you let somebody borrow a book and it was in perfect condition, and it comes back and like the spine's fucking broke, and you're like, "What the fuck did you?"
And then you repair it and lend it to them again.
Yes, and you repair it and lend it to them again and again. She's like, "I'm trying with Tamlin, like whatever. Let's just read and train to use a mental shield." So they do that. She now knows how to read.
Apparently all it took was like a mild amount of effort.
Yeah.
That's literally all it took.
She goes back, tells him everything. He's now no longer allowing her outside of the house. Her claws pop out because she got shape-shifting from him.
Yeah, I think one of the I think it was on that visit though with Reese where she's like, "No, Tamlin doesn't allow me to train because it's not safe because it might be attention." Reese is like, "But everyone already is gunning for you in whatever. Like you freed everyone. Everyone already knows you're a power, so that doesn't make sense." And she starts to be like,
"Yeah,
right, that doesn't make sense."
Yeah. Reese just typically always makes sense. For the most part.
For the most part.
So she claws pop out, but she draws them back in, and Lucian's like, "I'm so sorry. Like I will try for you. I'm sorry." Poor guy. And then she overhears Ianthe and the other boys talking about someone stealing her for breeding, and Lucian is the only one that defends Reese and is like, Reese would not because he's a good guy, but because he's not that fucking stupid. Lucian's like, "We need to train her," and Tamlin to me is like, "No, we must keep her safe. Things are very worse." She's like, "I need to leave," but Farah is so. Tamlin and Lucian have to go fight some monster, and Farah is like, "Please take me with you, take me with you, take me with you." And this Tamlin calls her a liability and locks her in the house.
Yep. So like the air shield she did, he makes that like 1,000,000 times stronger and puts that around the house, and she can't break through it. I'm not gonna. This scene is fucking heartbreaking. She's banging against it, begging, sobbing, crying, pleading, collapsing,
and her elements are going crazy.
Let me out.
She is on fire. Like,
I don't want to listen to the dramatized version of that scene.
It broke me. I was in the car, like, I was in the car just like sobbing, and I think that's why I texted you. I was like, why am I crying?
Yeah.
What is going on? And I think that was also the moment where I texted you and I was like, if I try to say anything
but this is not 5 stars,
I was like, you pull out receipts and call me a liar. Because I disagree.
Yeah, well, like, because the audiobook doesn't add a hell of a lot of emotion, which is fine because like it's an audiobook.
No, it's an audiobook.
To just be reading you the story. That scene though was still just like I'm just sitting there. I'm pretty sure my face was just like while I'm listening because like that was horrible. It
was, and again, like
it was so raw.
Like, I won't harp on about this too much, but when you, not that like there's anything wrong with romance novels or something, there's not.
No,
but when you lump something like this
into just a romance. Yeah.
into just romance novel, and like that's what you
It's
that's
rude.
like the expectation you place on it.
You're discrediting it so much.
It's not the genre. That's not what this is.
Yeah, no.
And you're also telling me to judge it by a very different metric, because if I'm judging it as a romance novel, it fails quite miserably. Which I think is why I didn't like it as much the first time, because I was told to expect something very different out of this series.
It is
because it's not a good romance novel, but that's because that's not what it is. You know, it's kind of like when people got mad when you read reviews of like the Mercy books, and it's like it's a terrible romance novel. It's like, yes, it is a terrible romance novel. That's
because it was never a romance novel. They don't even
It's
have
like-
explicit sex scenes.
I'm like
ever.
that is accurate. So I think it just does it a huge like disservice that it has this huge
Mhm.
reputation of being like fairy smut.
And there is sex. Like,
well, there's
for
more
sure.
explicit sex in this, but like when you have to wait until the last 2 pages, and like there's way more stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's the first sex scene, like the first real sex scene, is 80% of the way through the book.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah, I because I didn't really go into this with many, if any, expectations other than it'll be long.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wouldn't. The first 2 books, at least, I wouldn't classify as romance. I would just say that they have a strong romantic.
There's a
subplot.
romantic subplot. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
It's a strong one, but a romantic subplot also does not a romance book make.
Yeah.
Hell, even a romantic main plot, like a romance main plot, does not a romantic book make, because if it's not like a teen romance is not a romance book. It's
No.
a book that centers around the romance, but it's
Yeah.
not actually.
hey,
Because
Ryan.
we all know what we think of when we think of romance books.
Yeah,
They're-
porn.
Yeah. And
That's
they
all
make
it
straight into erotica.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it.
Like, you're gonna, if you read a romance novel, you're probably gonna read the word cock.
Yeah, the plot of a romance book is just to bridge the gaps between the sex scenes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Anyways, so she's on fire. She's screaming. She's freaking out. Moore shows up.
Worst
this
fucking
is-
scene in like the best way, but worst fucking scene.
This-
I've
it was
probably
so
Yeah,
good.
seen
this scene is so
quite a long
heartbreaking,
time.
and it's such like a relief when someone grabs her.
Yeah, when Moore shows up and takes her.
Mhm.
So Moore,
And
Moore
this is where
tells
we
her she's
hear
free.
Alice say, because
Yeah.
she doesn't know who's taking her, she doesn't know anything.
No.
She's not conscious of what's happening around her. She just hears Alice say, "Please look after her," or whatever the hell
Yeah.
she said. It's something to that sentiment.
Something to that degree. And so Moore takes her to the night court, and Reese is there immediately and is like, I think. No, we're still at the court of nightmares.
It's like I think Moore gets her to like the edge of like a border, not all the
Oh
way to
no,
the night
you're right.
court.
It is to the border. They go right to the border of the night court, or no?
To the
No, I
spring
think it's
court.
just I think spring,
Yeah, they go to like autumn or
like just
summer.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Reese couldn't break into the house.
Yeah,
to get
because
her.
otherwise it would be war. It'd be a
Yeah, and so again, she's still not really aware of what's happening. She just hears a voice say, "Please, at least tell me it was clean." And she's like, "That it was clean."
yeah,
And
like a
she's
goddamn
not
got
even
out.
aware of who's talking. Like she's just hearing the sentences.
Hmm.
And he's immediately like, "You do not have to go back. I want you to stay. I want you to stay, and I want you to work with me." And she's like really pissed off at Tamlin because this entire time in her head, she's like, "He locked me in that house. He locked me up." And Reese is like livid.
She's traumatized.
Reese is also pissed off. Moore is like, "Oh my god." And she's like, "I'm not going back for right now. I'm staying here." And he has to leave, and she's like, "Take me with you." He's like, "Okay, but if I leave and I take you with me, you're night court now. You can't, if you decide to go back, you cannot tell Tamlin what you see." And she says, "Okay." So we go to the Lotus.
Yeah, and I will say, like, and that scene was so important to their relationship because once again, it reaffirmed the same thing that had been going through my head up to that point. He wants her strong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she will never, ever, ever, ever be his prisoner.
No. And and it also very much puts his like priorities in immediately with Valaris, because it's like, listen, like if I take you here, that's it. You're here now. It's us now. And
Yeah.
so it's nice. So we go to the city of Starlight. I love Valaris. It just
I
seems
do
so
too.
pretty.
It does.
They get to the townhouse, which is the main house. This and the House of Wind for the rest of the series. The Bat Boys are outside.
And we meet the Bat Boys.
Well, we're about to.
I loved the like, because I think she overhears some of their conversation, and like it seems very much like, show me the shiny new toy, and he's like, not yet, guys.
He's like, guys,
Not
be
time yet."
cool. Be cool, guys. And Cassian's like, but I want to see her. Come on.
Because everyone except her knows that she is his mate at this point.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I swear
Mole
that they knew.
Cameron, no.
No.
Oh,
Mole
the voice
Cameron,
knew.
no. Nope.
They
the voice
suspect.
Oh, okay.
But Moore only explicitly knows because as soon as he comes back from Amarantha, he hugs her and says, she's my mate.
Okay.
And so she's like, hi, cousin. Who?
I loved Moore's first meeting with her, because she seemed like a little kid on Christmas. Like, she's just like, I get to meet my new best friend.
Yeah, she's like
Like-
finally another girl, because Amryn is not.
Like,
A
she's a
normal
girl,
girl.
but she's not a girl.
So he takes her to see the city. Part of her is bitter that all of the Valarian citizens were saved from Amarantha, didn't have to like
Yes,
suffer.
This is a very secret city.
It's a very secret city and it has been hidden for over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, we discovered through this scene that the Court of Nightmares is all just the front,
The front. Yep.
and it's
Now,
meant
that's not to
protect the
say
Court
that,
of
like,
Rings.
That's not to say that it doesn't exist. It does. Like it does, and things bad
there's-
things do happen there.
And
And
there's
bad
a
people
person
do
that
live
runs
there.
it. And the person that runs it is Moore's dad, Kier.
Mhm.
So like someone does run it, but the Night Court's the biggest territory in Prythian.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot going on there. And Reese, I would say, yeah, he rules over all of it, but like Illyria has its own probably like sub-ruler, and then the Nightmares have Kier.
So they kind of have, like, I think he kind of described it as like there's kings and queens within his kingdom, and
Yeah, and
like,
he's the emperor or
clapping.
whatever.
Yeah.
He's the high ruler.
But because I think, if I'm remembering correctly, the Court of Nightmares used to be like what it was, but then one of his ancestors was like, I don't like this. Let's
Yeah,
have
so
something pretty."
they made Valaris. Yeah, and it's been secret forever.
Mhm.
So he wants her to meet the inner circle that night at the House of Wind, which is like the proper palace that everyone lives in. It's on top of a mountain and overlooks the entire city, and is up a mountain that is 10,000 steps up. That is very important
Just
to know.
remember that.
10,000
10,000
steps.
That's like your daily steps, and
Just
like, you know
tuck
how like
that
a lot of
away.
people have like that 10,000 step goal.
Uh-huh.
that they
I know,
like,
but
think
just
about it.
tuck,
that's like
if
on
it
a
just
flat
tuck,
surface.
just tuck the
I
10,000
going
step
down.
thing.
So you go down 10,000 steps, and then to get back up, it's 10,000 steps. And it's a winding staircase.
I'm not gonna lie.
Just remember that.
100 steps up sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Just
I
keep that.
We're gonna love that
I'm
staircase.
Keep that
I
in
guess
your
it's
back
gonna
pocket.
Be, what is it? Silver Mist or whatever it is.
Silver Flames, yeah.
Silver Flames. There we go. Yeah.
That
Mist is this
staircase.
book. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Because you
staircase.
said it was steps and stairs, so I'm guessing it's
She runs up and down that staircase so many times. Anyways, so
I have
we
a question.
now
How do we?
She gets
how do we?
so much mileage out of that
Can-
fucking staircase.
You know how like there's Akatar, Akamath. Is there a way to say Silver Flames?
Akas.
I
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't like it. You can't. you-
Akatar, Akamath, and then Akawar.
Yeah. But then,
And then
it's
Frost
just
and Starlight
Akas.
is just Frost and Starlight. And then Silver Flames is just Silver Flames. So we get
Rude.
he's
Akasau.
he
Akasau.
also He also has to fly her to the House of Wind, and she flies for the first time, and it's very cute. So we get some
I
Amber
do like that she
backstory.
was such a girl, though. Was it her that was just like, don't mess up my hair? I just did this.
She says it so many
it that
times.
scene?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I do
it's
like
multiple
those.
times. Yes.
I do like those because it's not done to the point where it's just like, oh, I don't give a shit about your hair. It's just
Yeah.
like a little human moment
Mhm.
where it's like, look, I just did this. It's pretty.
We learned that Amren is some manner of creature. That is what she is called. I don't remember if we find out.
I don't know what she is, but that doesn't mean that.
That doesn't mean we don't find out. If we do, it's at the end of the next book.
Yeah.
I'm almost halfway done with that one, so soon I'll know. We meet Cass and Az, our baby boys. So Cassian and Azriel and Rhys all grew up together at the Illyrian war camps, and they're like brothers. That's very cute. They are so sweet. This is also where we learned that Rhys is half Illyrian. He's half High Fae, half Illyrian.
Yeah, and isn't one of the others half as well?
No, they're just all bastards.
Oh, okay. I thought one of them was half as well.
Nah, they're just bastards.
Okay.
But this means that Rhys doesn't always have to have his bat wings out.
Yes. And no one sees
can be
them really.
magicked away.
Yes.
But like, so when he's in the presence of other courts, he
keeps them up.
Hides his wings.
He hides his wings and pretends like they're not there.
But when in Valaris, he keeps them out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the wings are one of their greatest strengths, but also biggest weaknesses.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Because you can sexually discriminate.
Yep.
We do learn at some point. We do learn wing etiquette, where it's like, you know, you don't, because I think he touches one of his wings, and it's like, we don't touch people's wings.
Yeah, don't.
Rude.
Well, also, next book we learn some more of it, where it's like you don't touch wings without permission. You ask for consent before you touch someone's wings, especially a female's wings.
Which is. That would make sense, especially considering apparently it can cause the big O to occur, but also,
but only if you touch it in the right spot. Apparently,
yeah. It's not the like the. I don't know the technical term. The bone, I guess, is the best way. The cartilage. It's the webbing. It's the thin, translucent part. Of
so
the
even
part.
more so flying. I'm pretty sure you would just be like,
oh, and all the time. All the time.
There's no way you're not like how.
We're you know what it is what it is.
They love her. Cassian and Azriel love her. I wrote this down because she's important to know later. We hear about someone named Miriam for the first time, who was gifted a long life. That is all we know about her right now. Amren is being her weird self. We learn about siphons because Cassian and Azriel have 7 glowing gems on them at all times that are for their powers, to concentrate their powers. We also learn that the Illyrians treat women badly, that they cut off their wings. Yep.
And their job is effectively to just be baby mamas.
Yes, and we learn about everyone's past, basically. So Cassian and Azriel are bastards. Azriel started training much later than Cassian did. Cassian and Rhys hated each other, and then they became best friends. Does that sound familiar, TJ? We loathed each other, and then
We did.
Here we are. Moore was engaged to Eris of the Autumn Court, the firstborn son of the Autumn Court, and then decided to have sex with Cassian for funsies when they were 17.
A thing, and I don't know if this is spoilery or not. I have no idea if it's spoilery or not because I did not remember this happening. I saw a thing where it was like, I don't know, Eris gets some kind of like weird redemption arc, and then maybe Lucian is possibly like heir to the Day Court.
Oh, that's a theory. That's
is that
not
a theory?
Eris is getting a redemption arc, it looks like, but Lucian, that being heir to the Day Court, is a theory. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look at it.
That'd be cool. I want to see another court.
I know.
I want to go on a field trip.
I know.
Sorry. I'm like, I want to see the rest of them.
That's
Sorry.
more. Amryn, we don't learn that much about. We just know that she was made and she's a creature. We learn more about her as time goes on. So they ask Farah her backstory. She tells them and then agrees to help them. Because Reese is like, so did they pass? They passed, and she's like, yeah, I'll work with them. And they're like, really? This was a fucking interview, Reese? I thought we were just having family dinner.
And that's
she's
one thing
also
also that she just really
Yeah.
loved about them was like the
Yeah.
camaraderie, like the fact that like Reese let them like poke at him and like that.
Oh
like,
yeah, they're so
you-
mean. Like it's true
like
friendship.
like they just spend the entire dinner like lovingly insulting each other. And
Yes.
I think in her head she was just like, Tamlin would never let me.
Tamlin would never. Tamlin
Well,
could never.
She also like really dressed up and everything, and she's like, I don't think they would have shit.
Well,
Yeah,
because they weren't.
Yeah.
Like they were in
Well,
the equivalent
like-
of like jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, more dresses
Yeah.
up always. The boys are always in their fighting clothes, basically.
Yeah.
And then Amryn is always in pretty casual clothing. Or no, she's in the Jasmine from Aladdin
Mhm.
clothing always.
Which I think suits her.
Oh, it so
Yeah.
suits her. So now Reese reveals everything that he knows. He reveals that Hybern wants to resurrect Uriel. I think it's Juriel.
Jurian.
Jurian. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
read it wrong.
Yeah.
Who was the human that was kept in Amarantha's ring?
You remember the
Am-
eye and the bone?
Yep,
Yeah.
the eye and the bone. Amryn is like, well, you should go to the
Still
prison
one of
and
the
talk to the.
creepiest freaking things I've ever.
Yeah.
Like, can you just imagine
Um,
being stuck as an eyeball in a ring
I know that would suck.
while being aware? Ugh.
Amryn is like, you guys should go to the bone carver, to go to the prison and see the bone carver because he has like answers and stuff to see if it's even possible for them to bring Jurian back.
Yes. And why
um,
is he called the bone carver? Because that's what he does.
I
So-
love
Yeah,
the bone
I love
carver.
creepy children. I
I like
love
creepy children too.
I love. He does not leave. He is a major player for the rest of the next.
Does
book.
she always see him as a creepy child?
She always sees him as a child. Yes.
Excellent.
I like
I
that she
think
didn't
that-
agree
I
that it
think
was a
he-
creepy child, though.
No, I don't think he's a creepy child. I love him.
He's sitting there having a conversation with her while literally carving bones.
Yeah.
She's like,
People's
normal
work.
child things,
Yeah. Just normal child things.
just girly things, just
yes.
childy things.
So they'll go. It's gonna be
He's
Reese.
crafty.
It's gonna be Reese and Farah that go. And her and Reese finally talk and just the one-on-one, and she's like, it's a shame people hate you and don't know the truth about you. And he's like, honestly, I don't mind.
It keeps my peeps safe.
She has a nightmare that night. He wakes her up shirtless and he's hot. That's the purpose of that scene. He has a ton of tattoos that match hers. That's also important.
Also-
his
also-
tattoos match hers.
One thing as well was when he first kidnapped her the first time at the wedding and stuff, she's like, he's darker than he was 3 months ago. 'Cause
Yes,
he's not
he
been
is
stuck on
back-
that mountain for 50
He is
years.
back to his skin tone is described as golden brown. All the Bat Boys are. They are golden brown.
I take that to mean like
They're not they're tan. They're very, very, very
Yeah.
tan. That's
Yeah,
what
I
they're
take
supposed to
that.
be.
You know how like Kelowna's skin tone was described? That's how I kind of.
Yes, I agree. Because
All of our black winged people, I suppose, are golden brown.
yes, they're yeah, the ones that live in not perpetual winter, but like in the mountains.
Well,
it's
in
been
the
cold.
far north of Scotland,
Yeah.
are golden brown. That's
Yeah, they're dark white skinned. Anyways, so okay. So time for the bone carver. She freaks out. They go back to Valeris because it reminds her of Under the Mountain. So they go back to Valeris and Amryn gives her a ring that says, if you have this on, you will get out because it's how I got out. So we find out that Amryn was once in this prison that has like all the creepy magical monsters. that are,
I think. Sorry, when
so-
we're
I
talking
love
about what could have been truncated, you could have truncated this. Like you could have freaked out like before you go, and then like she gives her the
Yes.
thing, and then you just go. Like
Agreed.
you didn't. You could have.
I agree.
You could
But-
have. You
but we
could have,
go.
but we didn't. Anyway, we go.
Amryn used to be in there and it was thousands of years ago. And I have the note in here that is she from Throne of Glass or Crescent City? I know the answer to that question. Okay, anyways. Creatures come in and are trapped with no way home. That's what we learn about the Bone Carver's history, is that he's one of the creatures that came into this world and trapped with no way home. Very important.
Oh wait, he's one too? Wait. Where's he from?
I missed that. I will say that. I missed that.
Where's he from? Oh my god.
He's from Hello, My Name is Rhysand. Do you see why I say all of the things I say?
All right,
You see
I'm
why
sorry.
I speak English. Anyways, I stand the Bone Carver. I love the Bone Carver. He shows up as a indigo-eyed, dark-haired, golden-tanned boy, like maybe 10 or 11 years old. And his voice in the dramatized version is so good. Oh my gosh, it's so creepy and good. He says that the only way to bring Jurian back is the cauldron, which is at the bottom of a lake, frozen and vanished. But actually, the King of Hybern has the cauldron. He reveals that there's a book that can reverse it, that can essentially reverse the magic, kill the cauldron that's split into two between the 6 human queens and the Fae. Currently, it is in custody of Tarkin at the Summer Court. Get the book, stop the cauldron. So they go back to Valeris.
I feel bad for
Tarquin?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I do too.
Please tell me he stays bro in some capacity.
I think
I'm
so.
gonna be sad if he goes over to the dark side, because I wouldn't blame him because he was betrayed.
I haven't gotten there yet, so I can't tell you with full certainty, but I'm pretty sure he remains broy.
But probably less trustful.
Yeah, definitely less trustful. But I think it's one of those things that once they explain what happened, that he's like, I'm still pissed, but I'll revoke the blood rubies.
Because, I mean, look, I understand why they did what they did, because they couldn't guarantee that he would be a bro. But like Pharaoh's was like, I think he's a bro. Can we just treat him like a bro?
Well, Farrah and Rhys were like, I wish we knew he was a bro so we could just ask.
Because we're pretty sure he is, but we can't risk it. And it makes me sad, because he was like, oh, I'm getting you new friends that whole time. And I knew that what they were going to do. And I'm like, but his whole thing was like, we'll talk about it more when we get there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
That made me sad.
Yeah.
So we get back to Valeris, and now we have decided we need to start testing Farrah to see if she can seek out objects, because the big phrase from this series is like calls to like. All of her series have some big phrase. This one is like calls to like. She was made with a capital M, which is magic that the cauldron has, so she's able to find things or something. So Rhys is like, we're gonna take you to a lady called the Weaver, and I'm gonna see if you can find an object of mine that I've been missing.
You need just to go buy your own engagement ring.
Yeah, I need you to go get your own engagement ring, please.
Just Savage.
Yeah, they're also going to make her human liaison. Time for the Weaver. It's creepy. We get this
basically
ring.
she goes to the Weaver, she gets the thing,
she leaves, and that's 3 chapters.
And the Weaver is freaking is creepy. The song,
and it's also the song is creepy, so creepy in the dramatized version. It's so good. It's done well.
Is it?
I'm sorry. She's singing.
So glad.
It's actually her. She's singing actually in the background the whole time.
Because that was
so
good.
That
is a mess of a scene. Because the Weaver is, I don't actually even know what the Weaver is weaving. I don't know what it's made from. It's made from is it hair though?
It's either hair or skin.
Mm-hmm.
Human hair.
That's what I'm thinking. It's skin. It
sounds like it's both.
Could be both.
Possibly both. I know the roof is made of hair.
Yeah.
The chimney is lined with
fat.
Human fat.
Yep.
And I wish I didn't have a mouthful of music right now, because it's so
isn't
gross.
A big spoiler, but do you want to know a fun fact? The Weaver is the Bone Carver's twin sister.
So she's from somewhere else.
I am not at all surprised.
They have an older brother. but
How
I
do
don't
these
remember.
people
who it is.
keep
I
getting
am not
dumped
at all
places?
surprised.
Once you read that book, you'll find out how they keep getting dumped places.
What is going on?
You'll find out. At least in my theory. We also figure out that Reese hates Ianthe or Ianthe.
Ianthe.
Ianthe, because she tried to seduce him for power, and he shows her a memory of it. Time to go home to see sisters, and they're like, "Oh, you're Fae now." But
They're like, ew.
yeah, Farrah
And then
tells
and
them
then
everything.
Nesta's like, oh, Cassian, kind of hot. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I have written down. Oh my God, Cassian is about to meet Nesta.
Before we get to that,
it
just
is
one thing
cute.
covered as well. I did see someone acting out like a scene of ACOTAR where it's like Feyre like being like, "How could I forget my family, my negligent father, my sister, Nesta, who is a cunt,
Yes.
and my sister Elaine, who was there."
Yes. But it's so true. So we have an angry meet cute between Cassian and Nesta. It's so great. Elaine is very sweet. I don't know if she's noticed that she has an engagement ring on yet, but Elaine has an engagement
No,
ring.
she does. She does.
She does.
We will find out the first time.
And
Elaine
and they
is
talk about
engaged.
it because it's like she's engaged
To a
to
Fae
a-
hunter.
Fae hating jerk off. Like
Yeah.
and that's gonna
Farrah-
become a thing later.
Dude,
That's gonna become everybody's problem.
Since I'm in the next one, I'm already so done with Elaine. I'm so done with her. I get it. I'm so
Does he
done with
get
her.
cranky based on what happens to her at the end?
I don't
Is
think
that
we
what the-
even meet him. She
Oh, okay.
just becomes insufferable, which I get it. She's depressed because she turned into a high fae and she's not getting married to the love of her life anymore. But she's annoying. Anyways, she has no personality.
And
she's
to be
white
fair
bread.
as well, the person who is one of the people responsible for her being in the position to be turned in the first place, as well, is then immediately like, "Oh, that's my mate."
Yeah. Yeah, that they actually have that conversation on screen. It's a whole thing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I want to be there for that.
Oh, you will. And poor Lucian. Poor Lucian. So Farrah regards in her brain that Cassian cannot stop looking at Nesta, and that Azriel cannot stop looking at Elaine.
Well, that
I
makes me
swear.
sad. That could have been funner.
That's another conversation that happens. Is Farrah's
Okay.
like, why can't her and Azriel be mated? They like each other. And Reese is like, I don't control the magic. But
That's sad.
but also how that's like too convenient that all three brothers and all three
I mean, who
sisters-
cares
That's
if
right.
it's too
You
convenient?
know what? There are times when I am willing to suspend disbelief, and that is one of them.
But also I feel like
I would have been fine with that.
but also I feel like next book is probably going to be Elaine's book, and it might be a love triangle.
I don't,
Between-
because that's gonna
between
ruin
love
one
and
of
mate
them.
one. You know what though? If it is that, then at least we get to address the fated mate issue and whether or not love is inherent to the bond or if it's a separate.
That's
thing
another-
is-
That's another conversation next book. They have it. It's not inherent.
Excellent.
It's not love is not inherent to the bond, I don't think.
Excellent.
Well,
Well, no, they
obsession
talk about it.
is-
They kind of talk about it with what's his nuts?
Oh, with the parents.
Reese and his mom.
Yeah,
and his
that
dad.
is
That's
true.
right. Yeah.
They talk about that a little bit, but
It's
I was
harder
also
for
gonna
the men. The men are
Yeah.
more in love than the women are. Is how it
I was
is.
also gonna say though that like if they, because if she does like a love triangle thing, she's gonna have to like, and like it's a and like we pick somebody, we're gonna have to ruin either Lucian or Azriel.
Which
Unless-
Lucian would be the
unless
more
it's
likely
like
to
a-
be ruined.
Yeah,
Look,
and I'm
unless
like,
it
I'm
ends
not
up
really
being
here for
the-
that.
Unless it ends up being like I'm referring to this again because it's in my recent memory, but like the Twilight love triangle where Jacob was ruined until he wasn't ruined anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe,
know.
but I will say that no, I'll wait till we get to the end. But she tricked me at the end of this book.
Okay. All right. So Reese and her. Oh my god, that's right. Reese and her are together where we're at in my notes because I was like, anyways, her and Reese are because they're like such a unit. Anyways, Reese and her have to share a bed because obviously, but I don't think they do. Yeah, he summons his own bed because they spend the night at the Archeron household,
which is some bullshit.
I know, but it's okay. Later they do have to do it. And
I know,
Yeah,
but
they
like,
do
I
it.
will say
There's
that
only-
the forced bed sharing is like one of my favorite tropes.
But there's only one bed. What the fuck?
Don't
I was
summon a
like,
bed,
what the
Reese.
hell? I'm so mad.
So Reese
He's
like
being
lays,
respectful.
he lays down,
No,
loves
there's
her.
only one bed.
he lays down
He
his bed on the
wants her
floor.
he wants her to love him before they do a thing.
There's
And he's like, okay, Farah, can we have tea time? What the fuck is going on with your sister and Cassian? Because they were making some eyes at each other. And she's like, oh my god, I know, but what about Azriel and Moore? What's the tea on Azriel and Moore? Because he always stares at her like a puppy dog. So they just have tea time. It's very cute.
It is actually very cute.
And then Reese is
They have a
like,
slumber party, and I'll,
Yes.
you know, it's okay. It's fucking fine.
Reese is like, I'm mad at your sisters. And she's like, yeah. And then he's randomly like, when's your birthday? And so the birthday happened during the time jump between
Yeah.
the two books.
Yeah. And you know
It
what?
is the winter solstice.
I'm not gonna lie. I am so glad that Reese actually addressed the issue with the sisters because, like, again, someone had to fucking say it in universe. Like, why the fuck did they just let this little child?
Yeah, why they
support
let
their
the
entire
youngest
family?
of you? Yeah.
I and he's like, I don't know if I can ever forgive them for that, and my heart was just like, that's a
So
good boy.
he's really mad that she didn't celebrate her birthday. So that's fun.
It was
And
cute.
then the morning after they start to train with her like rest of her powers, he leaves and then the pen paling happens, send cute notes. And his note that he sends her is like, help, Cassian and Nesta are flirt fighting. I'm scared. Please help me. I don't know how to deal with this. And then she's being grabbed by the adder from last book. And then Reese shows up. And the adder's like, Hybern wants you. And she winnows. Good for her, but she can't do it again.
I think is that the only time she does it this book?
No.
Wait, no, you're right. She winnows later. Oh, she winnows a few times.
She winnows a lot later.
I can't remember.
She winnows with Lucian.
I know she
She
co-winnows,
Hybern.
but independently winnows.
She winnows with Lucian. She winnows
Hybern.
with Hybern. And then she winnows when Reese gets shot.
Okay.
She winnows
Oh,
like
yeah.
a bat out of hell when Reese
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
shot.
yeah.
So at the moment, it's a high stress situation, is when
Yes.
she can
Yes.
do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So but they get the adder back, they interrogate him. Reese shows her the memories of him and Azriel and Cassian interrogating, torturing him. She decides to send a letter to Tamlin saying that she left of her own free will and is not coming back. Which I was like, girl power, yes.
And but also, yeah, like, I don't think that's gonna help though.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
We
but
know.
It doesn't help.
Look,
but
I hadn't read the book and I knew before, and I'm like, that's not gonna do jack shit.
So she's like, so you haven't shown me the city of Starlight at night yet. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's go on a date with all of our friends. So they all go out. It's a really, really cute, fun scene.
Is this the Pretty Night, or is that a different?
There's like two that stick out because this is not Starfall.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
this is
the one I was
Starfall.
thinking of.
Yeah, this isn't
Yeah.
Starfall.
no, that's like 100,000 words later. Sorry.
Yeah. We stopped to go to the summer court. And then,
No, yeah. By
and
the
then-
way,
yeah.
we are now past the point where my brain was like, this book's probably almost over, and I wasn't halfway yet. We're past that.
we are about halfway right now.
Mhm.
At least through
And
my
we're
notes.
still not at the summer court.
Yep. They're
There's
alone.
so much that happens.
We start getting a montage of pen pal flirting, training, reflecting on Tamlin and how he wasn't right for her and all the things he didn't do for her. She finally grieves what she did to those innocents under the mountain. And now we're going to the summer court. Hi, Targan. Tarquin, whatever.
I also want to say as well, like, there is a part of her still that will, until later in the book, be feeling guilty and traitorous for leaving Tamlin, and she's not
She's not
acknowledging
over
her
it.
feelings for Reese yet, but
No,
she
she's not
knows
over
and she
it
feels
all.
bad
Yeah, and she still has a lot
because she
more.
did
of,
genuinely love him.
yeah, She still has a lot more mental growth to go, but she's feeling a lot better about everything. So
Yeah, and she also is
stand.
feeling like guilty with her attraction to Reese. She's like, I'm a piece of shit for getting over it that fast. And like,
yeah, because it's like I definitely don't love him anymore.
Yeah,
And it's
this
only
is-
been
and
a month.
I think that's and this is a
At
big
this
part of
point,
why she gets so mad at Reese when she finds out, because she's just like, I could have not felt guilty, and I feel guilty, and fuck you.
Yeah, but she probably would have still felt guilty if she had known that they were mates.
Look, probably, but
But that could
she
be her
doesn't have the
argument.
benefit of knowing that. Though.
yeah, I mean,
exactly.
because really, probably the real reason why she got over it so fast is because they weren't really in like a relationship for like, well, for one thing, for 3 months while she was under the mountain. Even though she loved him, she was like not with Tamlin for like 3 months because she was under the
She
mountain.
and Tamlin were together for 6 months total but they weren't together that whole time.
Right. Well, like, so you have 3 months where she's under the mountain, and then you have 3 months where she's throwing up, doing PTSD.
No, you have
stuff.
3 months before that.
No, I know.
So it's been
Right,
about 9 months.
Right. You have 3 months
um,
before that. Then you have 3 months under the mountain. Then you have 3 months of PTSD.
Yeah,
And so that's 6 months total, but only 3 like good-ish months, kind of.
But they're not even like boinking during that time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I will say as well, I don't know at what point in the book as well, but like throughout the book, she starts to have like thoughts of like, the one time he approached me under the mountain wasn't to try and save me; it was just to fit in a
fuck
quickie
me
before I died.
Yeah.
And Reese has thoughts on that later.
Oh, Reese is fucking pissed about that. Yeah.
Reese has thoughts on that shit.
But she had already independently thought that before Reese, which I think is a good thing, because
yes, I agree.
pointed out to her. But and I'm not gonna lie, this book is making me question, like, because I went into this thinking like Tamlin does love her. He's not healthy about it, but he does.
No, but
I don't know if he does.
I think he
thinks he does.
Own way.
I think he thinks he does.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if he actually.
I think that you could argue that Tamlin loves her or cares about her or whatever. But I don't think but like there's a spectrum, right? Like there's a point where like you might love your spouse, or like you might like love your spouse, right? But there's also a point where like you might love the person that you've been dating for like 5 months, but like, would you jump in front of like them, or like would you jump in front of like your best friend? You know, it's like, well, we've been dating for 5 months, but like, you know, like Addie,
Are they my priority yet?
Yeah, like because like your priorities still haven't like shifted at all.
Yeah.
But like you might still be like, yeah, but I love them. And I think he's like at that point where it's like, well, we've been like dating for like a minute, and like I think I love you, but like,
so I'm gonna make a deal with the literal devil to get you back.
But like, would I slip
my
would I throat for you? Like, meh.
It's
I don't think he'd slit his own throat. I think he'd slit her own throat for her.
Yeah. Well, she slit her own throat for him, but like, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, we're at the Summer Court. Tarkin. General tenseness. There's Tarkin, like, is it? I think
Tarquin. So Tarquin is okay. What we need to know about the Summer Court is this: Tarquin is honestly he's a bro. It's the beach. It's very pretty. It's described as very pretty. It's very fun.
Grecian.
Here's another thing. Feyre and Breeze wind up jealous of each other. And it's hilarious because they're both like, I'm not jealous. Are you jealous? I'm not jealous. Are you jealous? I'm not jealous. Are you jealous? Like,
and they both lie, and then later on they're both like, yeah, we were jealous.
Yeah. So anyway, but what we need here is the book. We need the one half of the book. And so what happens is
you're breaking my entire brain.
Why?
Because I have to find where I am now.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to help. We need to find the book. So after some some flippity floopiting floppiting around, we find the place where the book will then be, and then
they make a plan to infiltrate the building.
Yeah, Reese is like, I'm gonna stand here and not do anything.
You and Amber go
two
in.
Are gonna go in.
Yeah. So they do. They
The
infiltrate the
TikTok
book.
you sent me.
And I could have sworn that this exact thing happened in Blood Air. Like,
yeah.
I remembered this scene, but I thought it was from Blood Air. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
They get trapped, they get saved, we're home. But the book can talk to Farah, and it's very creepy. The day after, she goes up on the roof to watch the sunset. Reese is here. They talk about deceiving Tarquin. There are 3 giant blood rubies, which means that they are wanted criminals in the summer court.
Although then again, I don't know that saying that is fair, because at the same time, this is also a trap out of Indiana Jones. Like, so
also true.
To say
there is no original idea under the sun.
No.
Yeah,
But
like a water trap.
It felt like deja vu from Blood Air. He's upset. She tries to make him feel better by flirting, and it works. And she's like, "This is dangerous. I have real feelings for him. Oh God." And then she has a fantasy about him that he put in her head, and that scene was so good.
Clicks. Yeah, I like it when it clicks for her. And she's just like, "Get out of my head, fuck."
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really bad. Anyways, the next day she visits Amren, who is relearning the old language that is in the book. The book is written in an old language.
I suppose we're meant to remember the fact that the book is written in
You're
an old
meant to
language
remember
for
that.
Reference?
Not for this series. It doesn't matter for this series. But remember that Amren...
So remember that for well into the future.
Amren, I'll remind you. Don't worry. Weeks pass, training, waiting. We get word that the Human Queens are going to the Archeron house, which when I read this, I always thought it was Arcaron. I don't like how they say it. Hi, Human Queens. The Human Queens don't care. They're not going to help. Nesta and Farah are outraged. Moore goes off.
These queens are bitches.
Moore goes off. Moore reveals that Miriam and Draken are still alive on an island far away, hidden from time and sight, which has been a secret for 500 years. That is very important to know. It's human and fae living together. The Human Queens are like, give us one shred of proof that you're not horrible creatures. Night Court. And he's like, okay, I'll get proof. He's like, I'm going to show them Valaris, which so sad. But we have to go to the court.
I still want to know why Valaris is like, why is that like the one? There's nothing else we could show them.
I know.
Well,
anyway,
nothing else.
It's always the bargaining chip. It's always the fucking bargaining chip. Valaris is always.
Look, I can kind of see it, because his family's entire reputation has been built on like millennia of being
evil.
Literally,
yeah.
Like, is it just like the Night Court, or is it like all of Fairy though? Like, this is the thing.
I think it was him specifically. They're like, we know you, we know of you.
We know your
Reese.
reputation. We know that you're Amarantha's whore. Like,
we know you're a piece of shit. We know that your court is a nightmare, literally, etc., etc.
But we have to get an orb from there to show the Human Queens Valaris. But we have to go to the Court of Nightmares, which I love when they go to the Court of Nightmares so much. That scene is so good. Anyways, so we get more of Moore's backstory, where she was engaged to Eris. She touches Reese's membrane while they're flying, and like with the wing, sensitive. Then they start getting
shot at. Is that when they
at.
have that conversation?
Yes, it is.
They start getting shot at. Time to figure out who was shooting at them. They find nothing. Time for the Court of Nightmares.
Yay.
She's playing the High Lord's whore and playing into that like a lot. This was discussed before, so everyone's consenting.
Yeah, consensual whoring.
Yes. He's like, this means nothing, because like he can tell that she is aroused by this, and he's like, it means nothing. It's just your body. It's fine. And meanwhile, he is also behind her, like she's on his lap, and she's like scantily clad.
And she can feel that he's into it.
It's so good. She starts to feel bad right now, or more bad, I guess, because she did just yeet from Tamlin with no words, so she's starting to feel a little bit guilty again. Kier calls her a whore, and then Reese goes sicko mode and breaks his arms.
It was fun. That part was fun.
Yes. Then afterwards, they get into a little fight, and he's like, "What do you want?" She's like, "I don't know," and she's really, really mean to him. And she's like, "You I forgot exactly what she says, but she's like, "You're just the monster everyone thinks you are," or something to
I
that
think-
degree, and like no one will
I
ever
think there
love
was
you.
And I think there might have been some comparison to Tamlin in that. I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was.
Yes.
And him knowing how much Tamlin traumatized her took that pretty badly.
Yeah, so he starts
Yeah.
avoiding her, and she realizes after that she really, really wants him, like as a relationship partner, and she's like, "Fuck." So she keeps trying to get him to talk to her, and he doesn't. But it's Starfall tomorrow. Starfall's in full effect. He takes her to be alone. They apologize. We find out. I forget. I think this is relevant to Throne of Glass, but I've never figured out the exact reference. Apparently, you can see the main character of Throne of Glass in this, and I didn't see it, and I looked out for it this time. But it's not stars going across the sky; it's souls, so it's very nice.
Migrating souls, because they migrate apparently.
Yeah, the souls like hit them, and it like puts that like essentially glow in the dark paint on their faces, and it's like really cute, and they're just.
It's adorable.
The scene
This
is
is
so
the
wholesome.
scene is so cute.
I like this scene.
She
That's
like
sweet.
he's like, "You laughed for the first time. You smiled at me for the first time," and she's like, and he's like, "Do it again," and it's just really, it's so pure. Anyways, we're going to the Lyrian war camp. She feels guilty because she's been up for 2 months.
I think again I was driving while I was listening to this, and I think at that I went ew, and it was cute.
It's so cute.
One thing that I like as well is, at least in this book, and I'm hoping in future books as well, you know what it's like when like they have like all of this like crazy tension and banter and stuff, but then they get together and it's just like
It's still there.
it feels like it'll still be there.
It's
It was
still
there. This book, excellent.
It's still there.
That would be really heartbreaking if he just became like the dull shelf. Like,
Nope. He's
love
still
interest. Excellent.
he's still Reese.
Excellent. Because that was the biggest issue with
Most. Oh,
No,
from
no.
Blood and Ash.
yes, because their relationship was freaking amazing, right?
And
Until
then
they
they
got
got
together.
I'm still so bitter that first book was incredible.
It was, and then
And
the
then-
rest.
And then
And I'm not even talking about the weird.
No, I'm not even talking about the
Throuple.
three.
I'm just
throuple.
talking about their interaction.
it fell apart long before the
fizzled.
throuple.
It did. So she really wants Reese with a capital W at this point. We hear about the blood rite, which is the Illyrian boys have to do it to become like full-on warriors. It's not important right now. It becomes important.
Yeah, put a pin in that.
It becomes important in Silver Flames, but it's not really important right now.
Okay.
We train with Reese. He talks about Tamlin and how they were friends, how Tamlin and him were friends when Tamlin was a kid, because Reese is a lot older than Tamlin.
Mhm.
Tamlin killed Reese's mother and Reese's sister.
Well, Tamlin and his
Tamlin and his
father.
dad. But and to be
brothers?
fair,
brothers as well. Yeah.
and to be fair though, well, no, that's right. They killed them first, and then Reese's dad went and killed Tamlin's dad.
Yeah.
So like Tamlin and him were friends, and then he was like so severely betrayed by Tamlin. So like there's beef. So when you,
Yeah.
I think last stream when you were like, I feel like there's something, that was the something.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah. I picked because
like he
And I-
trained Tamlin, like
Yeah.
he was like a big brother to Tamlin, and then
and the way it was described as well, because obviously Reese had the reputation of being from the Night Court and everything, and their reputation precedes them. So like their friendship was especially special from the sound of it, because like not a lot of Night Court didn't really have a lot of outside friends.
no,
Mhm.
they don't really have allies in Prithian.
Yeah, and then yeah, they just killed his mother and sister, which is
So fucked.
So, oh, yeah, no, that was sad. And yeah, you could tell like that. I guess them not killing each other was like just the last like remnant of that friendship or something.
Well, the other thing that you get out of this too is that Feyre is like, I was with Tamlin, for a total of 6 months. Right.
Yeah, like in
Where-
Spring Court for 6
Where like
months.
we have spoken, presumably. We don't see any of their conversations, obviously.
But that's for the best. That's for the best.
But
We
like
did see
again,
this
it
conversation on page
it actually is kind of something sneaky that she does when I was like really paying attention to it, is that Tamlin and Feyre do not speak, and it's very interesting. But she's like, what Tamlin told me was that a High Lord, just a High Lord, yeeted his family. And she's like, just a High Lord from a different court did a bad. And
then under the mountain, she finds out that it was Rhys's dad.
Under the mountain, she finds out that.
Yeah.
But
and then
she's like,
in
Tamlin
the
didn't tell.
3 months.
But,
the succeeding 3 months, he still didn't.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, but Tamlin didn't tell me anything. The first time she sees the map, she's like, Tamlin didn't show me that. So she's like, even regardless of like the being locked up stuff, she also just really gets a sense that she's had a lot of information kept from her.
Yeah.
And even like kind of stupid stuff.
Yeah, right?
And it's not like it's not something that would or shouldn't, if their relationship was like, capable of surviving. Like, telling his side of that story wouldn't or shouldn't have harmed their relationship.
No.
Like, there was no reason to keep, Dad, brothers, and I did a thing. It was bad.
As revenge.
I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to, but like we just got caught up, and then him and his dad came and killed my whole family, and then I killed his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, the impression that we get of Tamlin's dad, right, is that he's not like the best guy.
So that he was a bad
So
person,
even just like, I was forced along to this and like didn't participate.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
then
I was too young to blah blah blah.
What happened, I reacted and killed his dad, and that's where our feud comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like she would have just gone, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Because that was her reaction.
Yeah.
That was her reaction to Rhys telling her was, well, that makes sense.
And it's interesting how sneaky it is, because it's, all the other books we've read, I'm like, they don't speak. And in these books, you just don't notice that they've never spoken.
And all that happens in this book is her and Rhys just talking. This is like just her and Rhys talking all book, and it's so good.
Yep. And he gives her so, like, sometimes they make sometimes they make little bargains, like, and it's usually just so he can convince her to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because she's very inside her own head, and he's like, look, I'll give you a truth for truth. And then so he gives truth, she gives truth, and that's
about
how
to
he
happen.
gets her to talk.
And back into no, that's not where we're at yet. We're almost to the big truth for truth, and she's like, I want you.
Yeah, but like Tamlin has has been hiding she's like, where are you going? He's like, away. Whereas whenever Rhys has to go, he's like, look, I gotta go to Nightmares. This thing.
Yeah, it's like,
I have to do a thing. I'll be back tomorrow at approximately noon. I'll see you then. And
I'll holler down the bond if anything changes. Like, we'll be in constant comms. Yeah.
And again, when he actually gets Mor to rescue her, he's like, look, I do have a secret I would like to tell you. But you have to make a promise.
Yeah.
And there's none of this like, oh, don't you worry your pretty little head.
Yeah.
And
no, he's actually very straightforward with her. He's like, if I do this, you actually can't tell him, because a lot of people are gonna die, including you and Tamlin and Tampon, if you tell him. So
he's like,
I will slaughter the entire spring.
Yeah.
He's like, I will slaughter the entire spring court if you open your big fucking mouth. Okay.
Yeah, because this is super secrets, like special spy business, and he's like, yeah. So like, I like it, and I feel like if there's something he can't tell her, he'll say like, look, I cannot tell you now,
but I will.
At as rough a time frame as possible, and if he can tell her why he can't tell her, I feel like he would tell her why.
Yeah.
And whereas Tamlin's just like, oh, precious.
Oh, sweetie, I'm protecting you. Yeah.
I also love, sorry, one more comment and then I'll shut up. I feel like a lot of male main character, or like a lot of love interests are written like Tamlin.
Yes.
but like in
The
the
main
bad
character
way.
finds it attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that is one of the most infuriating fucking, like, again, because I just reread Twilight. Edward doesn't fucking tell us shit. Whereas Jacob's always just like, yeah, this is the thing. The only time I haven't told you something is when I was literally ordered not to and I physically couldn't.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, like maybe he was the better choice. I don't know. But that's always the main trope of the main love interest is like,
I'm
going to do
you.
something.
Oh, but
And
yeah,
I won't
because
tell you why, but I'll tell you just enough to make you curious enough to want to go out and almost die.
right, because it's not that like the domineering energy isn't like fun. It's that the it's that the whole like I'm going to put you in a glass box.
Yeah.
Actually, though, thing is like
Yeah, because Reese has domineering energy. Like, you can have open communication and still be domineering. It's fine.
Just break somebody else's hands. It's fine.
Okay.
Anyway,
We are very close. We are very close.
This is such a healthy
Okay.
relationship, though. I'm loving
Yes.
it. Their relationship is like so healthy.
So Lucian's here while they're training. Lucian's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, Tamlin is so sorry. And she's like, I'm never coming
Fuck
back.
you.
And then Lucian's like, Reese, what did you do to her? And Reese is like, Grr. She bamps her wings out. As she's like,
she's
Lucian,
like, I am darkness.
yeah, she's like, I am darkness and scary in
Yeah.
sunlight.
Yeah,
Or
it
in
was like
starlight.
sometimes when you stare into the darkness, it stares back.
Yeah. She's like, she's like, Lucian, you gave up on
This is
me, and
when
I'm
she-
no
yeah.
one's pet.
Yeah, this is when she has her full go at him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
she's like,
you know
I will
what,
hunt
though?
you all down.
Fair call. Fair
Yeah,
call.
fair,
Like, I can't blame her for being absolutely furious.
But also,
Especially,
she's like,
again, 'cause
I
Lucian
have
was
to
there
play
while
into
she
it.
was banging on the wall.
Yeah,
begging.
and-
he was watching
but-
her.
But this goes two ways too, because at this point she's like, I cannot act like, Reese is just super nice and very sweet,
Yeah.
and like will dance with glowing stardust on his face
On our
because
faces, yeah.
that would like really,
That
but that
would
would like
put it at
betray
risk.
Valaris. Yeah.
So I
she's
have
like,
to now be evil too.
Yeah.
yeah. So she's like, okay, fine, I'm evil, and Lucian's like, ah.
And she's like, I'll hunt all of you down if you look for me again. They get to an inn later, and it is bedtime. It's one bedtime in a very tiny room with an angled ceiling. They talk, and
It's
he's
just like there's not even room for someone to sleep on the floor. Tiny.
and
Yeah.
and they start doing
No
the thought for
summoning
thought
beds.
thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, this room is too small for me to properly take care of, or no, to probably take you. Resand. And then she's like, I can't stop thinking about you. They're spooning. She starts touching his wings.
Because they're cold. And also, there's no
Oh, it's
fireplace and
freezing.
it's freezing cold.
Yeah, this is
So
the
they have
Valyrian
to
mountains.
snuggle.
It's very cold. They finally kiss. For realsies. Yeah.
That's not all that happens, but
No, it's not.
Have they had
and-
the conversation about him
Yes,
being like my
that was-
biggest regret?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Wait. I don't remember if they have. I think I would have written it down. I don't know, but at some point, yeah, he's like, my biggest regret is how I kissed you under the mountain, so that way I couldn't do it properly or whatever.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
did have that conversation earlier.
Yeah, their first kiss wasn't a mutually excitable thing.
No.
Yeah.
And
He's
she's
not
like,
pleased.
she also tells him in this moment, this is another trope that I hate. She says, I want a distraction tonight. So he says, okay, I will distract you tonight. Anyways.
Luckily, they don't leave it hanging for like 4 books, like a lot of.
No. They leave it
Like,
hanging
it's
for
like it's
like
resolved-
5 chapters, like 6
Yeah.
chapters. Like, it's fine. So they're flying
It's not-
back to Valaris. He starts getting shot with ash arrows through his wings. Can't winnow. Battle. She's separated from Reese. Can't feel him. She starts tracking him. She's killing people. She's helping him after and tells him about the painting she did for her sisters. Flowers for Elaine, flames for Nesta, and a night sky for herself. And he's like, he's like
Yeah.
dying, but he's like very sweet. He has a fever. It was Hybern. She goes to catch a cereal. Oh God, yep, here it is. She gets the
Yeah.
cereal. I love the cereal. To see how to heal him, we find out it's been a full year since the beginning of the first book.
Yes.
He says, "Give him
Just in
your
case
What
blood."
has happened this year?
Yeah. And he's like, to save your mate, there's also a flower. She's like mad that he knew. And I hate this trope. Talk about how I hate this trope. I hate this trope. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I also hate it.
It's stupid.
Oh, that's another TikTok I saw this morning. It was because ACOTAR is all in my feed. It was like someone acting out like the first time she meets the cereal and everything, and it's like, you must stay with the High Lord. No, not that one.
That's why last stream, whenever I wrote down every time she thought stay with the High Lord, and in my notes I wrote it down. I didn't say it out loud because of you, Mara, but I wrote down, but not this High Lord.
Well, I already knew though that he was
know.
Endgame, so you could have said it.
Okay.
But
Okay,
no,
I also though I've sent you a TikTok, I think, but it was like Tangled, and it was like
I'll have
Eugene,
to-
like
I have it-
asleep. Let me
Yes.
Let me
Yes,
send it.
I'm gonna
Eugene is
you
asleep,
know,
and Farah knowing about the mating bond. Yeah.
Let me send it.
The
let me send it to
ACOTAR
our
memes
group.
are good.
They're funny.
So they get back to the war
I sent
camp.
it to you.
She asks Moore to take her somewhere, anywhere, 'cause she's pissed. The usual hate mate spiral happens. She finds paint, days long painting spree. She paints all the inner circle. Moore talks a little bit about her relationship with Azriel and how like she's not very clear if she has feelings for him, but she's like, Azriel and I would never be together because he doesn't think he's good enough for me. 5 days later, Reese is there and he's like, you're gonna give me food? And she's like, explain mating. So he's like, giving your mate food means you accept the bond. He tells her about his first meeting with Amaranth. Oh god, this is the
This is like the diatribe.
the 2 chapter long, or the full chapter
This is
long of
Midnight
just-
Sun.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's literally in my notes that this is Midnight Sun. Anyways,
Honestly,
He
though,
was her-
you know what? You know
What's
what
it
though?
like?
This is better than making us
liked
read
it.
like a Midnight Sun.
I
Because
Well,
like this.
this
Well,
is so much more
I just-
effective.
Well, again, 'cause
I prefer it.
Midnight Sun was harder the second time. Like, don't like even if you ever get the inkling to reread that series,
Why? I
Midnight
never,
Sun's not worth it.
if I reread
it
anything,
felt-
I'd
it
reread
was
Breaking
20
Dawn.
I think it was like 25 or 26 hours long, and I was listening to it on double speed, so it was half that,
13 hours.
but it felt like 30 hours long.
He tells
So
her about his first meeting with Amarantha and how he planned to kill her for 500 years. Then he starts to get flashes of Farah's life starting around about 3 years ago. I thought I wrote 300 years ago, and I was like, wait a minute. About 3 years ago, he starts to get flashes of Farah's life, and it was the only thing that got him through. He went to Fire Night for her, and we basically just get ACOTAR from Reese's perspective. Midnight Sun. They tell each other they love each other. Now there's Boink. The dramatized versions of sex. Literally in the background
I am unsure. Really?
It do have that.
But it sounds more like a bed hitting the wall, is what it sounds like, really.
I am
But
gonna feel so uncomfortable.
It has a pace. It has pacing.
Look,
Mhm.
I have been with my husband for 11 years now, and I still get redder than this and shut down and curl into a ball every time he tries to have any kind of conversation with me about what we did 10 minutes ago type thing.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if it's in this book or if it's in the next book.
I'm gonna go bright red when I listen to it.
No, I was too.
I
Honestly.
was like-
I was like,
Thank
stunned.
Christ I have headphones because my headphones were dead yesterday, and I started to like listen to the book like.
Oh, but then
'Cause,
I
like,
told you
also-
chapter
The
55.
audiobook.
Chapter
also
55.
the
But then
voice,
a
the
sex
voice
scene happened, I had
acting.
to-
I was about to say, I don't know if it happens in this book or if it's just because I listened to like a sex scene on Sunday night. But when say like someone shouts their so the other person's name when they
Oh yeah, I'm actually curious to see how that gets translated into a dramatized version
It
because
just
always
gets
reads as
translated.
he just
ridiculous.
screams Farah. Like scream growls Farah.
I wasn't ready.
I was listening to it out loud. Like
Okay,
because
now all I'm getting now though is like the
Like-
Darth Vader no, but
oh
like name.
guys. Oh, hang on.
I wasn't. So
Oh,
because we had
no, it's something completely different.
because we had the scene with
Send
like
it to you,
Feyre
I'll
and
do it. It's my cat cuddling with Crescent City.
because we have the scene with Feyre and Tamlin, and then we had the scene, you know, the previous with like Feyre and Rhys like in the bedroom, and then we had like, so once we got to chapter 55, I was like, okay, it'll be fun.
It was not fun.
I was not fun. I was like, I'm fun. That was not fun.
Anyways, they're fully mated now. And during the mating scene, this is
Oh
another
yeah,
thing
because
that means nothing to you guys, but it means a lot to me.
What is that?
She has a light coming out of her chest right here.
yes, I
Again,
remember the
means
black
nothing to you guys, but means a lot to me.
I'm guessing at some point it will also mean a lot to us.
Yeah.
What book? What series do we have to read?
Crescent
for it to mean
City,
a
I
lot?
assume.
Okay.
So
Okay.
most of the things I'm referencing are from Crescent City. Pretty much
Okay.
everything I'm referencing is from Crescent City, unless I'm
Um,
specifically like Throne of Glass, because Throne of Glass doesn't have that many parallels.
One thing that I thought was cute was because before he tells his story, like like his Midnight Sun chapter and everything, she offers to get him food, and he's like, well, that's kind of a big deal. And she's like, but why? And he's like, well, because that's how a mate bond is
Accepted.
confirmed.
That the female is accepting the mating bond. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, sometimes it's a big party where like sometimes it's private, sometimes it's whatever. And she goes, well, tell me the story and I'll decide if I want to give you the damn freaking soup. And then at the end she's like,
I mean, I read out the first
she's like,
line.
eat up or whatever it is. And
I
I'm just
read
like,
I read it last week. Hang on, I'll go to it. Almost 55. Oh, I went to 56. Or. Hang on, I typically can find it. She says, "Then eat."
yeah, and it's just like a really nice, wholesome little. Like I find that like a really sweet custom thing. I don't know if it's actually
That
like
is very
custom
sweet.
or it's required, but
I think it's a custom.
whatever it is. Yeah, whatever it is, I like it.
Yeah, because I
like it. It's
don't
just like-
think. Yeah, no, I think it's just a custom.
It's a sweet
Also, this sex scene is like really iconic for Book Talk because it is. They have sex on a table covered in paint, so they're both covered in paint at the end of it. So it's like a very iconic scene for TikTok. Anyways, they have a fuck frenzy because mating bond makes them crazy. They talk about kids. They're both like not right now, but later. Now we go to Valaris, say hi to everyone. Hey, we're mated, guys. And then we go to
stop from having kids.
Huh?
How do they even stop from
a
doing
potion.
They have a tonic.
Or something.
Oh yeah, that's
A tonic,
right.
Yeah, they have
in
a birth
high
control
fantasies, birth control is usually a tonic.
A tonic. Yeah.
Mm.
If they don't mention it, it's just headcanon, it's tonic.
Yeah. Because she said, she's like, I haven't been taking it, and he's like, I'll start taking it. So
Yeah, he was like, do you want to start taking it? She goes, well, that would reduce the risk of being able to conceive a child, because I guess it's also an abortification tonic as
Probably.
well as a whatever.
Yeah. So it's more
abortification-
safe for the guy to take it.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take it.
But it's because then they have honestly, and they have the conversation that every couple should have at the beginning of their relationship. We don't wait 2 years until we're engaged to have this conversation. This is like, if not first date, by third date, this conversation should be had.
Yeah. Do you want kids?
Do you want children? How many? Rough timeline. The main thing that we disagreed on was timeline. He wanted to wait till 30. I wanted like yesterday, please, type thing. I was like, the sooner the better. We kind of compromised and went at 26. I was 25 when I fell pregnant, 26 when we had the baby, and I was 22 when we met. So kind of like halfway there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was an accident, but it happened. But everyone needs to be on the same page as to whether or not children are going to be a thing in the relationship.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's a waste of time.
Exactly.
And also, if the
advice
answer is
from
no,
Public Bay.
if the answer is no on either side, but berating
answer's
somebody
different.
if the answer is different, but also especially if the answer is no, like the other person's answer is no and your answer is yes, berating or like trying to coerce them into it is not a good idea.
No,
I will say,
that's just a
I will
bad.
say,
terrible idea.
I feel like especially when the person that doesn't want the children is the woman in the relationship, because
Yeah.
parenthood takes a much higher toll on the woman in the relationship than the man. Because like, one, he's not carrying the child. Two, he's
Yep.
not required. He's not physically feeding the child.
Yep.
And three, just based on typical general trends and everything, she generally ends up doing
Most of
larger
the
portion of
Yeah.
the child.
So also, if you really don't want
It fucks
kids,
with your hormones. It destroys your body.
yeah. Also,
Like,
like if you're
it took
somebody,
years for my butt to not be flat.
also if you're somebody who like really just doesn't want kids, and you know you don't want kids, don't let somebody coerce you into having kids.
No.
But
definitely not.
also, if you don't want kids and they want kids and they're willing and they say, I am willing to try to not have, like, to not want kids or whatever it is, be the bigger person and just break up with them, okay?
Yes.
If one of you guys has to break up with the other one, and if it's not them, it needs to be you.
Yep.
If you aren't on the same page for your kids, just
Yep.
break up. It's happier for everyone. It sucks right now, but it's happier for everyone long term. And especially if she wants kids and you don't, and especially when she gets into like her early to mid 30s, dump her yesterday, because she has a ticking time bomb that is her uterus, and it takes time to build a relationship to the point where you're going to have a baby, okay?
Yep.
And she doesn't have the luxury of you stringing her along for 5 years and then dumping her. She doesn't have that luxury. It's rude. That's all.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they had the mature conversation of like, yes, we would both like children, and yes, it will be harder for us to conceive because of the type of fae we are.
Yeah.
However, we're about to go to war, not the best time.
Yeah, like now's not a good time. Okay. And he's like, I don't know what I would do if you were pregnant during a war. I think I would commit genocide. So let's not.
Which fair. Fair.
At least he's
Post-
honest.
Look, they're both down to bring in this world's baby boomer generation. Okay, it's fine. Post-war babies, it's fine.
So we're meeting with the queens again to show. We only meet two of them this time. The eldest one, and then it's the golden queen. We don't really have names for them.
Mhm.
We show them Valaris, and they're very unimpressed. Nesta goes off. They're still unimpressed. And Cassian goes up to her and pledges himself to her.
Like, I will protect you and your people and everyone, and
to fight
I
for
love
Nesta
you.
and her family. Yeah. He essentially it just proclaims his love for her, and she's like actually impressed. They leave, but the Golden Queen left behind a box and is the other half of the book. It comes with a note that says, "Don't trust the others." Reese is like, I suggest.
Yeah. And the Golden Queen did not get what she deserved.
No, she comes back. I
Good.
think she's in Silver Flames, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
I don't know, she was pretty mangled. Wasn't she dead?
I don't remember. I remember that there is a human queen in Silver Flames. Might be her. Might not be.
Honestly, I'm not super clear on like the queen lore other than they exist.
Yeah, same. Okay, so we get back to Valaris. Her and Cassian bond. They chat about Nesta. Then Hybern's forces appear on the horizon of Valaris, and this is just a devastating scene where Valaris gets destroyed partially by Hybern's forces.
My brain almost went, what the fuck? But then it was swiftly I think I got what? And then it swiftly changed to those fucking bitches.
Yeah.
Because there was
that old bitch.
Because there was no damn way it was coincidence that they're like, here's a city, and then the city gets attacked.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
very
what
sad.
What the fuck are they doing those? And why? And now we know why. But
and we start to see the extent of Reese's power, where he turns the entire city dark. So he's very, very powerful. Amren figured out a plan to destroy the cauldron. So now we're making a plan to get to Hybern to destroy the cauldron.
We need to address another really important key difference though between Reese and Tamlin in this one, because she gets told, go to the townhouse or go to
Oh,
wherever
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, go to the townhouse.
And she's about to, like, she's starting to make her way, and she's looking around. She's like, "What the fuck?" And she
Then
she
the
starts
arts
helping
district is
everyone.
getting destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, "Okay, I need it." And she's like, "I'll invite people to the townhouse. It's watered. They can't do a thing." She's doing what she can to be there, be present, and help. Not racist people, her people, because they're her
Yeah.
people now.
Yeah,
And
they're
it's
her
beautiful.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He's like, "Look, I really want to be fucking mad at you. I really do, because you should have protected yourself. But
I'm
think I
so
love
damn
you."
proud of you.
I
Yeah.
think I love you." And whereas Tamlin would have been like, she would have been
Locked. She
locked
would've
in
locked
a
up.
no. She wouldn't even be confined to the house. She'd be confined to a room for a month.
Well, I also
Should be
I do like the nuance there though, because it's not like she's saying that there's something, I don't know, like wrong with the impulse to be like, go hide in a bunker
Yeah.
where nothing will
yeah.
ever touch you, because like I think the impulse would be there for anybody.
Yeah.
Everyone wants everyone wants the person they love to be safe
Yes.
Yeah.
in that situation,
Yeah,
which is normal.
I
if
would
we're
feel
in
that way too, you know?
Like if we were getting bombed and my husband was like, "I'm gonna go and do a thing," I'd be like, "Please fucking don't." And
Yeah,
he
like, no,
probably still
thanks.
would. And I would
Yeah.
hate him forever. But also
But like, I mean, these are also like people with like special powers and shit, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
different. But like,
yes, it is. Yeah,
But
like
at the same time,
yeah.
so
Look, I get him wanting her to be protected, but she was also just like, "But where are you going? How absolutely dare you?" But also, I get it, and I guess I
Well,
should
'cause-
do that myself.
he was at Nightmares. He was at the Court of Nightmares when they attacked.
mhm.
So like you can tell he's coming because the darkness comes and it ebbs over the entire city. And that's how you know Reese is there. And it is we're
It is
glossing
very
over it,
cool.
but it is
I want to
badass.
see
It is
I want to
badass.
see that scene. I want
So
Lord of the Rings quality, like, oh well, what modern day Lord of the Rings quality would be.
let me
I want
show
that
you
cinematic experience.
but
it
let
would-
me
it
show
would
you
look
who
badass.
they Blech. I don't want this.
Have they already cast Reese?
Yes. I'm unhappy.
The only thing I've seen is dream casting, not actual casting.
Nope, this is apparently actually who Reese is. They have not announced anyone else. It's the guy from fucking Kissing Booth.
No.
Yeah. I hate it. It's also Hulu producing it, not HBO. So it's gonna suck. I'm not ready. Sarah SJ is on it. She is an executive producer. She is writing it, but at the same time, I'm not excited. I'll watch it, but like,
Because I'm looking it up and I'm still just seeing fan casting.
As
Like that's all I
as
see is
Tamlin?
just fan cast.
As Tamlin, right?
nope.
Okay.
Oh my god, wait, no. Seriously, is it just fan casting? Oh, thank
I
God.
hope it,
Oh, thank God.
there's no.
I think you're right.
No, I can't in my Google search. I'm not seeing any official casting. I'm just seeing Dreamcast, fan cast. That's it.
Thank God. Because I was gonna
and
cry.
IMDb has no cast
Okay.
listed.
Okay, thank God. Thank God. I just fell for TikTok's antics. Okay,
Yeah.
we're almost done. I am
Okay.
gonna
Yeah. Sorry.
start
Yeah.
going.
Go for it.
Okay, so we have the calm before the storm chat with Reese, where it's just us and Reese, and that conversation that Mara just talked about happens, and he also tells her that the Weaver, like stealing from the Weaver, was a test that his mom set up years and years and years and centuries.
Yeah.
Because
I love
if you
that
can't
reveal because
survive
that
the Weaver, you can't survive marrying Reese, is what his mom said.
yeah, and I loved that reveal because like since the Weaver scene happened till now, like just every so often she'd be like, "But why the what the
Yeah,
fuck?"
why? Yeah, like why did this happen? Yeah. So that's why. And she's like, when this is over, I want to marry you. I want to throw a big party. I want to do all of the things. And then he just says, what if we go further? And then it's like bars, Highburn, and we're at Highburn. It's going exactly to plan. It seems too easy. They find the cauldron, and the books
so real
are like,
quick. I'm
Looks
sorry.
like join us.
So would this series be
Yes.
better adapted as
Yes.
animation? I think that
100%.
most high fantasy things would be better adapted as animation. Here's the thing. I think Lord of the Rings lulled everyone into a false sense of security when it comes to live action. But here's why Lord of the Rings works in live action.
Because it took a decade.
Well, not only that, but mostly there's not really much you actually have to do in the
There's
realm
not
of special
magic.
effects. Like as far as like whooshy.
That's why
flips-
Game of Thrones worked too.
It's mostly the spider.
It's-
They had to put a lot of work
Yeah.
into that fucking spider because a giant spider is likely to look ridiculous. And
Yeah,
the Eye of
and-
Sauron, they're the main CG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and like so, and also like
And
Addie just
Gollum.
said, Game of Thrones. There's
Game of
really
Thrones.
not a ton of magic effects, and then also even like Harry Potter, it might look like there's a lot, but there's
It's mostly
really-
just like little sparks coming out the
Yeah,
end of the
there's
wands.
really not. But like a lot of but in a lot of books, we could say this for Blackwoods too.
Oh my god, Blackwoods should not be live action.
where you're talking about a lot more fantastical set pieces and stuff like that. ACOTAR would be in here. Blackwoods would be in here. A lot of other books I've read would be in this category. I mean, even talking about like Castlevania, which
Castlevania was so good.
which
Animated.
was an animated series, and they did a lot of magic stuff, and it was very good. And I think that
And
most
combat
high,
was good too.
yeah, I think that most high fantasy series make a lot of sense as an adult animation series because of that reason. Because I think it also helps you suspend disbelief. Because also you have to keep in mind too that with something like ACOTAR, you're not Feyre's the only human. Everybody else has to look funny. So
Everyone's
everybody
got
else
pointy ears.
everybody else has to have pointy ears. They have to have like
something.
hair colors
about
and
them.
eye
Oh,
colors and
Lucian's
stuff like that.
eye.
Yeah, Lucian's eye.
Yeah.
But everybody
Oh,
has to
no,
have like kind
stop.
of these hair colors and eye colors and hairstyles and stuff like that are not going to mesh. Like Tarquin is described as having very dark skin, turquoise
And white
eyes,
hair.
and white hair.
Well, and one other thing to keep in mind as well is Lord of the Rings had an unprecedented time frame and budget.
Yeah.
And like, because I've watched all of the special features because I can do the cast
I love
commentary
that series.
quite
Yeah.
hard. Like Weta Workshop, they literally traditionally made every piece of chainmail in that
Yeah.
series.
Mm-hmm.
They traditionally forged every weapon. They had miniatures that were just perfect. They like just the preparation, like the Shire set was planted and ready for over a year before they started filming because they wanted it to look like it hadn't just been planted. They're like, no, we're going to plant it and come back in a year. So they did.
Yeah.
And this was only possible because it was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like no other, I can't think of another thing that would get that same level of dedication and care to be allowed to exist.
Yeah, but I think that animation is really like a better medium for adapting high fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Definitely.
But anyway.
'Cause, because again, like they could do the costuming for all of the Fae.
Yeah.
If they had a much bigger budget than they would ever be allowed.
Because Hulu is doing it. That's the thing, is if HBO was doing it, there's the potential that their
Even
budget would be
then,
high enough.
Even
Well,
then, I don't
You have to
think
think
so.
of Game
like,
of Thrones.
I know,
You have
but
to think of
like,
Game of Thrones.
yeah, but even then,
And
like, Game
Last
of
of
Thrones
Us.
suffered. Even then, Game of Thrones suffered with like some.
Bad writing, not bad visuals.
Oh, the biggest issue
No,
with Game
it
of
was
Thrones
bad
was
writing.
that season 8 needed
Yeah, it was
another
bad writing.
the exact same plot points, but just 2 to 3
Yeah.
more episodes.
It wasn't budget or visuals. They had all the budget that they needed. They just the directors
issue
were just
with
dicks.
But the issue with the visuals with Game of Thrones is that like you're gonna need very different visuals for something like ACOTAR,
yes,
and
but if
like
you had
you
a
can get
Game of Thrones
away.
budget, you could do it.
I really think you'd need more than that I
they
really
could do
just
the-
think animation would make more sense.
Oh, I think so too.
Well, animation
I'm
would
just saying
definitely make more sense.
Hulu's not going to do it as good as HBO would have, because if there's any network that could do it, it would have been HBO. But no, it's Hulu, and their shows are so mediocre.
Yeah,
Like their shows are just not very good.
but
They also don't
anyway,
do fantasy.
whatever.
I'm almost done.
Yeah.
So the books are like, join together, please. We want to be with Daddy Cauldron. So she's been enchanted and convinced that she needs to put the books together. She feels eternal power, and Jurian is here. Hi, Jurian. So everyone but Amryn is here from the Valaris cast. They're enchanted to not be able to win away, and it was a trap. Obviously, trap because it was so easy to get in. There's no magic. She can't like talk to Rhys. Nothing's happening. We finally meet the King of Hybern, who is just the King of Hybern. That is his name. He's like, you silly hoes, this was a trap. Azrael gets shot through the chest with an ash bolt that's poisoned. And it's so tense. They drag him to the throne room, and
okay, I do need a spoiler. Do Cassian's wings recover?
Yeah, he's fine.
yeah, he's okay. They're both fine.
Okay, because I knew like he wasn't going to die, but I just needed to make sure his wings were recovered. Because with Illyrians as well, if their wings get clipped off or damaged beyond repair, then
they don't grow back.
Then they're gone forever.
Yeah, they don't grow back. They had to patch them, but it works.
Excellent.
So when they get to the throne room, Tamlin and Lucian walk out because Tamlin sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah, he made a bargain. He was like, look, I'll give you access to Blar if you get me my bitch back. And he's like, cool.
Yeah, he's like, I'll get you access to Prythian if you get me Farah. And Lucian is obviously very unhappy with this. And Tamlin is like, you're coming with me. And she's like, fuck no. And Hybern is like, no, I have to break the bargain between you and Rhys because no one can tell that they're mated yet. She's like, let them go.
He's doing his utmost to hide it because they can smell
He's like not even breathing. He's like barely breathing. So she's like, let them go and I'll go with you. Before he gets to her, she winnows to Rhys. Tamlin figures out the mating bond and he's like, Rhys, what did you do to her? Soldiers are pouring in and the cauldron is here. And Hybern's like, do you want to destroy it? Listen to your master, meaning Tamlin, and Farah's like, I will destroy you if you take me. The human queens walk in, and so I thought that that Nesta and Elaine were made next book. I didn't remember that it happened here, so I was genuinely shocked. I was shocked when the cauldron came out. It was so incredible. So, and yeah, I wrote, oh shit, the sisters are here. I thought it was next book.
I feel like Nesta will take to it so well.
Oh, just wait.
I don't know how happy she would be initially, but I think she would kick ass as a babe.
Oh, just wait.
So in a good way or a bad way?
Oh, in a good way. Well, both.
Excellent.
Yeah, both. Both is good.
The queens say, prove your gift. But the reader, we don't really know what it means right now. Ianthe, we find out, has been working with Hybern the whole time and sold out Farah's sisters. Power is erupting from the cauldron. Lucian's like, stop this. As they're dragging Nesta and Elaine to the cauldron. And even Tamlin is like...
And they do Elaine first, which is, I feel like that was intentional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And even Tamlin at this point is like, stop this. Stop, don't do this. And like, so everyone's, oh God, it's so heartbreaking. And like, in the background, like
the dramatized version is so...
The way it works is like, even if Tamlin's talking, you can still hear Farah in the background go, stop, no. And it's...
Yeah, because it's effectively like audio TV.
Intense.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So everyone's screaming. Elaine goes in. She comes out. Lucian goes to her because he's like just closest. And like gets her up. Nesta's turn. Cassian's wings are shredded, and he is literally crawling towards the cauldron to try to get Nesta. And oh my God, it's so bad. He's crawling, trying to get to her. And she's like, Nesta is livid, and she.
Oh, and at this point, I think Lucian has also already said, "You're my mate."
No, not yet. Almost.
Oh, I thought he had. Okay.
Nesta points at the King of Hybern, and that's the last thing that goes into the cauldron is her pointing at the King of Hybern, which is it's a symbolic importance thing.
And it is described as well as like even the king is unnerved.
Yes, even the king is unnerved by her because she is like really kicking and screaming. Elaine's like unhappy, but Nesta,
because also like Elaine didn't kick and scream. Like she was kind of more like frozen when she went in, but then she's screaming in agony when she's in there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like a pleasant experience. Whereas like Nesta, as soon as Nesta was like in there, she's like, "Fuck you!" Like all the fight went out. And she's like, "Fuck you! I will destroy you."
So she comes out. Nesta goes straight for Elaine, and Lucian kind of like pulls Elaine back and is like, "She's my mate." And Nesta's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, are you kidding me? We don't need this right now." And so everyone's freaking out. Farah unleashes all of her powers, like to break the wards around the castle.
Yeah, because
so that way they can winnow away.
Because one of the things that she's been having a hard time with this book is all the different titles that have been bestowed upon her, some more formal than others. But one of them is Cursebreaker.
Yes.
And she kind of has like this moment. And
I'm the Cursebreaker.
It's like, she's like, that's right. I'm the Cursebreaker. I'm going to break this fucking curse, bitch. And so she does. And I think that was a really powerful moment for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She breaks it and then she goes, "Oh God, Tamlin." And she pretends that like Rhys brainwashed her the whole time. And it's like so heartbreaking. But Rhys knows. Yeah. So like they play along.
That's one thing I was saying before. Like this scene when like not just Rhys, but all of them.
They all know. Yeah.
They all know. Like a couple of them take a couple seconds longer to realize what's happening. But they're all just like, how could you? Wink type, like obviously not anything so obvious, but she knows that they know that she knows that they know, and just like, see, this is what family, like they're her family and they know
it's so
her,
good.
and it's
I
like it.
And she screams, "Break the mating bond" at Hybern. She's like, "I know you can break it. I want you to break it."
Yeah.
And
break it all.
Yeah, break it all. So a bond gets broken, but it's just their bargain. It's not that you can't break the mating bond. It's literally impossible.
Yeah. But I will say this is where she tricked me. Like, because like one they did the other thing, but two, because she kept saying like he wasn't there, like she kept focusing on the fact that Rhys couldn't hear her, she couldn't hear him, etc. And it makes it sound like it was gone. Like and I was like, look, I can understand, and
because it takes away their telepathy, right?
No, not forever.
But no, it's because there's I think it's kind of just like being overpowered at this point, like the breaking of the other bond, so it's kind of fizzled out. Which is what makes it seem like it actually happened.
Yeah, because they teleport the next book.
And by the end of the book, he's starting to feel it come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, no, but then I'm saying to myself though, I'm like, it's okay though, because she would love him without the bond. And I'm like, so that's why she's doing this, because she knows she would love him regardless. But no, you just can't break it. It's fine. No. But also they did the other tattoos, and I was like, oh, it's fine.
As the Night Court people are leaving, they grab Nesta and Elaine and teleport back, and Lucian looks at Farah and has the like, I know what you did. Like Lucian immediately sees right through all of it, and I'm like, that's my boy, that's my man right there.
Because the plan was for Tamlin to Lucian to take the sisters with them as well.
Yes.
And poor Farah as well, because like in her head she's just screaming at Rhys, like, take my sisters and run. I've broken the wards.
Get out.
Work out that I've taken the wards. Take him, get him gone.
Yeah.
And then when they go, Tamlin's like, ah, and she's like, I'll kill you, or whatever it is. And then she's like, yeah, you king, I'll kill you. But Tamlin, please rescue them.
Yeah. So then we have Rhys's point of view, which is one of the few times we get Rhys's point of view. They get to the townhouse. Amren keeps saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" And Amren, that's when we find out the mating bond can't be broken. And then in internal dialogue, Rhys reveals he just broke the bargain, and he's like, "We're not going to go get her." And they're like, "Why?" And they're like, "'Cause she's a spy." And if they had removed the glove on her right hand, they would have seen the new set of tattoos that they got last night when they went to go see the High Priestess and made her High Lady of the motherfucking Night Court.
And one thing I love,
everyone freaks out.
Because at first it's shock, right? And I thought, and it sounded like they might be like, but that's just not done. But then they're freaking out, and he's like, no, she can sit in my place. She will not be my consort. She will not be my lesser. She is my equal in every freaking way.
And
she can wear my crown. And then
no one's
their
mad
only
about
response
that.
is, then their only response is, so you mean to tell me that our high lady is in enemy
Is
territory
now in
as
enemy
a
territory.
spy? We need to rescue her even more now.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
I love this.
It's so
part
I
so
love
much.
it so much. They're just like, and they're just like, and it's and she's
And
with
the music,
and she's with Tampon. How dare you?
and the
with
music.
my-
is
She
just-
has
they're
your
like-
power, and
Yeah, they're
ramping
like
up.
my high lady is with Tampon. How dare you?
And the music like ramps up, and Reese just says, "We're going to war." And then there's kind of an epilogue where we go to the spring court. Internally she's livid, externally she's acting happy. Lucian is like, "So bitch, how'd you get free?" And she's like, "I just did. From his mind control, I just did." And he's like, "Are you hurt?" She's like, "I don't have any memories of the night court." And he sees right through this shit. But Tamlin's like, "I need to find Ianthe." And she's like, "Let me help." And he's like, "Okay." And that's the end of A Court of Mist and Fury.
So
Dun,
I
dun,
will
dun.
say that, like, such a great way to end a book. But
We
I
love
was
a good
like,
yoink.
But their relation, that said though, I know that the next book's going to be book 3.
Mhm.
But in terms of their relationship, it's going to be book 2.
It's
we've got
there
book 2
is no-
bullshit.
there's no book 2
Um,
bullshit.
There's
There's
in a
none.
way, though, there kind of is. They're not together.
No, but it's
That
not.
is one
though.
of
Okay, let me tell you, it's 10 chapters. It's 10 short chapters that they're apart. And
It's
they're
not
talking.
Excellent.
It's not book
And they're
2
talking.
bullshit though. It's
Yeah.
not
Excellent.
because they're not broken up.
Yeah,
Book 2
literally.
bullshit. Book 2 bullshit is not just about physical distance or whatever. It's not about like, oh, our high lady is spying. It's not that. It
Well,
is
and it's also-
specifically when
it's
they're
the amount of
broken up.
time. It's also the amount of time that they're apart.
Yes.
Because sometimes it can be,
Good.
they're
This-
physically separated.
Book
For, like,
2
a whole
bullshit.
Because I was just like, I don't want book 2 bullshit.
No,
Book 2
it's
bullshit is
10
also
chapters. It's
book
only
2
10
bullshit. You
chapters
can
of-
always tell when book 2 bullshit
tell
is
you.
afoot because what can you do? You can always go to the 50% mark. And what is the midway turning point of book 2 bullshit? Them getting back together. So, about like the 25/10 to 25% mark is like the official breakup usually, and then the 50% mark is the getting back together. That's how you know it's book 2
Excellent.
bullshit. That's not what this is. It's literally just like she's going to do a plot point and then like it's fine, but like they're not broken up.
Excellent.
So
But like their relationship is like, I can see why everyone loves this relationship so much because it is so good. And like he doesn't even because we're in his head, so we know he doesn't even consider trying to rescue her.
This much of the book is her in the spring court.
Excellent.
It's nothing. It is nothing.
He doesn't even consider trying to go and get her. He's like, okay, she made a choice. We're rolling with it. And
This is a
this
multi-perspective
is beneficial.
book.
She will be pissed if I try and rescue her. She wants to help our people. Excellent.
Wait, no, it's not.
And I love it. I love it that he's not arguing with himself. He just accepts her decision.
but I guess we'll do that next week.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Okay.
It
well,
is
we
very,
will-
very long. It's 82 chapters. So
But we will see you guys then. Yeah.
I'm so pleased that we decided to do this series.
I am too. This
I
is
am
one of my
too.
favorite books.
I love their relationship so much.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys
Well-
next time.
You have another book and a half with them.
Yeah. Bye.